So this guy who didn't break any laws, who didn't do anything wrong, he ended up getting deported. And he was calling people saying, look, they told me if I come back, they're going to kill me. People who don't understand and want to learn will ask a question and go, okay, I don't understand what you're saying, but can you explain so I can understand? Other people that I don't like, they'll just say, okay, well, that's fine. Or they'll just change the subject because they don't want to feel dumb in that conversation. So you'll switch and be like, I didn't know this is what happens when I don't eat that bad food. Like you don't even know how bad it is until you start eating it. Welcome to the Bamboo Project Podcast. My name is Donovan Gray, and this podcast is to help you turn your life into a living. So you can find me on Instagram, DONIVANGRAY. You can find my girlfriend, the producer of this podcast, Anita Byrne, ANETABURN. Now this is new. We have an Ask FM page because I want people to be able to ask questions to us comfortably without. Pretty much Ask FM allows you to ask us questions anonymously. So our screen name for Ask FM is Melissa X Donovan 1841. And I'm going to put that link or the screen name in the description of either, whether it's on YouTube or the description on any of the streaming platforms. Free consultations. So hit my DM, get on the phone. You can figure out what's going on in your life if you want to learn how to deal with your parents, deal with your friends, deal with girlfriends or boyfriends, or you have self-confidence problems. You can, DM me for that. And I'm going to put all the timestamps below because I know people might see the podcast and go, oh, it's kind of long, but I want to look for a certain part. So I can go down to 12:45 where they were talking about why alkaline food is bad, or I can go to 34:33 and I can see, oh, this is why Donovan is investing this way. So today is Tuesday, August 11th. It is 2:45 p.m. We are starting super late, but there's a reason for that. I'm going to get into that a little bit later. The people who are new, my goal is to always start the podcast at 10 a.m. If I can start it at 10 a.m., then it allows me to do the whole podcast, and then I can go edit the podcast all in one day, and that allows me to be more efficient. And when I'm more efficient, I can get more work done, which means make more money. If I can get the podcast done in one day, I can have it uploaded today, audio and video, and get back to work tomorrow. So I'm starting a little bit later, so we're going to see how that goes for tomorrow. So can you scroll down? So it's a little couple of things set up differently today in terms of just equipment type stuff. Oh, excuse me. So second time using headphones. I like it. I still like it. It's still great to me. I can hear when I'm too far from the mic like that. I just over here I'm too far. Now I'm close. Now I'm too far. Now I'm close. So I like the way that this sounds. And I actually changed position of the mic because I feel like this is a lot easier for me to move my hands around closer to my face. It's not in my way. So anybody starting a podcast, you can kind of just see this setup is what I like to do for now. So I'm enjoying this. So on today's agenda for the podcast, I want to talk more about the same thing we did last week. The next couple of episodes that we do are going to be about our diet, which is an alkaline diet, which is based off of Dr. Sebi, who wanted people to eat food that is more alkaline, which means on what is that test called? The pH balance test? The Litmus test? No. I forgot the name of the actual test, but Melissa will pull it up. But I want to eat food that's supposed to be more alkaline to then clean out the acidic food that I have in my body. And you want to have food that doesn't produce as much mucus because, according to Dr. Sebi, a lot of the food that we eat causes mucus, which then causes us to have the diseases that we have now. Did you find it? Okay. So while she looks that up, like I said, the alkaline diet. We started last week. We were talking about what was it? We were talking about. I'll come back to that. Like I said, I'm trying to get into the habit of going down the show notes the way that I have them written. So that was the first segment of today's agenda. It's going to be alkaline diet. the mucus in your throat, and corn, because it's a really weird thing I learned about corn, which I'm pretty sure most people don't even know or understand. People hear, oh, you shit corn, and you don't know why. Can you scroll up? It's not moving. So the next segment will be life update. We was watching something on Netflix about immigration policies. Oh, life update is just what I did between last podcast and this podcast, and kind of what I want to have, what I'm trying to plan or do going forward. We watched. You don't know what it's called?
They have litmus paper. That's what you would use to do
I feel like it's called a litmus test. That's what I think it's called, but I'm not sure. So like I said, immigration policies. I was confused because I'm just curious why people are upset about immigration, because I don't understand why, if you know that coming here is illegal, why would you be upset with how you're treated once you come here and then get exposed or get discovered for being here illegally? That to me, I'd never understood. I don't know anybody that's here who doesn't have their papers, so I would want to ask somebody like that. And it's mostly only for what I see on the news is mostly only applied to people who are uh, Mexican. That's usually who it's applied to. I don't really see people complaining about Canadians coming over here and crossing the border. I don't hear much about Caribbeans. I don't hear much about Asians or Russians or I don't hear anything about them. It's mostly only Mexicans. So I'm wondering why that is. And the only thing I seen in that documentary for me that I felt was like, okay, that is kind of fucked up is, and even then I was like, I think people have a problem with laws and then I guess morality. So by that I mean, I think people say, okay, you're coming to America. The law says that we have to separate you and your kids here. If you know that that is the law when you come here, I don't think you should say that's not fair or that's not nice to do. Then I don't think, if that's the case, you probably shouldn't come here if you feel like that. So one of the guys on there was saying that he was back in his country, and they were saying, oh, one of the gangs told him, if you come over here, if you stay in this country, we'll kill you. So you have to leave. And he left the country. I think left with his kid maybe, and he ended up getting found out. Honestly, his situation was kind of crazy because he said that they had these little, think of like an Airbnb type of situation where you have a bunch of different people living in one apartment, right? And one of the other guys who was there had broken the law doing something. So when ICE came to pick up that one guy, there was 5 of the guys there. So they were like, oh, well, we found 5 of them. Let's take them. So this guy who didn't break any laws, who didn't do anything wrong, he ended up getting deported. And he was calling people saying, look, they told me if I come back, they're going to kill me. So I don't know what to do. Like, I don't know how to kind of go about the situation. And I'm curious why they were going to kill him. They didn't talk about that. They just said he was going to get killed. And I also feel like, I don't know how these gang things work. Maybe they want him to join, but they were just like, he said they're going to kill him if he goes back. I don't really know situations where people are just like, yeah, if you're here, we're going to kill you if you're not doing anything. Like, I don't think it works like that. So I'm curious what he did that made them upset about him being there. So again, like I said, when they come here, I don't understand why they get upset about being deported back or being mistreated when they get here. So that's another thing that I find kind of strange. The whole situation with the kids being deported, not being deported, being separated from their parents, I think that morally that's wrong. And I think that if somebody told me, if I fly to Barbados with my children, and that, in that area they kill children or they have to cut off one of the children's legs or something crazy, I wouldn't want to go to that place. I wouldn't go there and be like, wow, I can't believe I cut off my child's leg, when clearly it states, if you bring your child here, we will do this thing. Like, that doesn't make any sense to me. So that was crazy. That was outside, right? God damn. So like I said, that was strange to me. And then when I also think about, put this a little bit lower. When I also think about immigration in its what's what I'm looking for? When I think about immigration in its totality, it makes me ask the question of how would I feel, bruh?
That's wild.
Bruh, he's just being rude at this point. It makes me question, how would I feel, or how would you feel if you listen, people who are listening to this, if a person you don't know was in your house tomorrow and said, "I don't want to leave." And I don't think enough people think about the country as somebody's house. Somebody in this country, somebody runs the country. There are things they have to follow, there are rules they have to abide by. There are things they're trying to do for the country. And somebody comes over here, and it wouldn't be a problem if one person came over here, because that's not how it works. It's thousands of people that are coming over here they have to deal with, and then thousands of people change the economy, they change the law, they just change things when you have that many people come to a new place. So I'm pretty sure if somebody you don't know pulled up to your house tomorrow and said, "I want to live here now," you would be like, "What the fuck do you mean you're gonna live here? No, you have to leave." They're like, "Well, I don't want to go home because my parents are mean to me." You're gonna say, "Well, that's cool, or that's not my problem, but you can't be like, you can't live in my house." They're gonna be like, "I don't think that's fair." And imagine they told you, "I brought my kids with me too. I brought me and my two kids, and we can't even speak to you in your language, but we're gonna live in your house." You like, what? What do you? Why would I want you to live here? It makes no sense. And I think that when more people think about it like that, I think it puts immigration into more of an understandable light. So I also want to talk to somebody. Like I said, I want to at some point talk to somebody who either probably not undocumented, because they're not going to want to come on here. Probably not. Maybe who was undocumented or knows people who are undocumented. We can have that conversation, or even a lawyer or some type of judge who. Oh, this sounds better when I do it like this. Or type of judge who. Excuse me. Or type of judge who. Lawyer or a judge who knows about immigration. I'm gonna ask my sister if she knows anything about it. Let me call her. 1 second. I'm going to text my sister to see if she knows anybody that works in immigration. Oh, I asked both of them. Okay. So I asked my sister and my cousin. So yeah, that was something I was watching last week, and it's something I've always thought about. Just living here, because I don't understand how people. I don't understand what people feel about immigration. Like, why are y'all upset about it? I don't. Some things I've heard is that they aren't hurting that many people. They aren't hurting anybody by being here. Everybody has that age-old argument about, oh, they're taking our jobs, which is nobody. The jobs that they're taking, nobody really wants to work. And then something that me and Melissa were talking about before was, I feel like if the people coming here had better, not criteria, um, what's the word I'm looking for? Matter of fact, I'm gonna add this as a segment to the podcast, because I feel like I'm gonna just do this. I'm gonna read off 5 words from my words list that I used to use back in the day. Because this whole not knowing what words to use is gonna blow my brain every time I come on here. Like, what's that word? What's that word? What's that word? What's that word again? I'm gonna be doing that shit for the next 30 podcasts. I'm still gonna blow my mind. Okay, so Melissa, pick a letter.
L.
Okay, L. Okay. Okay, which one should I use on here? Oh, laconic. That's interesting. I like that one. I mean, that's one word. Laconic means brief or using very few words. So laconic. My purpose on this that's what I'm gonna do. So can you add that on there? Put like a segment where I'm going to say a word and then use it in a sentence in relation to the podcast. So for me, I try to be more laconic on the podcast, because I feel as though if I speak more, it drowns out what I'm trying to say. And if I can be more precise or more laconic, then my point will get across a lot better. Okay, that's one. I'm gonna do 3 today. Pick another letter. Oh, hold on. What letter you said?
I said F.
F. Okay, so F. F would be. Ooh, fallacious. That's the word I used. Ooh, or facetious. I'm gonna go with facetious for today. Facetious means treating serious issues with deliberately inappropriate humor. I'm not even sure how that would even work exactly. Treating a serious issue with deliberately inappropriate humor. How would you use that in a sentence?
I said like 3 sentences in my head, but I feel like they didn't make sense. I was like, your tone is facetious. I don't like how you're facetiously talking to me. Like, I don't.
I feel like those are cheat codes for saying a word in a sentence. That's not really using the word. It's just.
That's what I'm saying. Like you was looking at me, and I'm like, I know you want me to say something, but it's not. I didn't come up with anything that would be
Let me see.
a good
Facetious. Treating serious issues with deliberately inappropriate humor. I wonder if it's inappropriate because of what's happening and not actually the word choice. So I would assume that the podcast, this podcast, I am very facetious on what? What? Okay. I am very facetious on this podcast because I don't think that I don't think that there are any serious problems. So to me, everything is funny because at the end of the day, none of this stuff matters. So that's why I always take the facetious approach to a situation because I look at it and go, okay, how bad is this? It's not really that bad. So I make a joke out of it because you listen, this happened to you. You can get over it. You're not dead. And even if you did die, you wouldn't know that you were dead. So what is an actual problem that exists that actually has to have somebody actually, I guess, ruin somebody's day or, fuck up somebody's mental state and whatnot. So that's facetious. And what's another one? It's the last one. Okay. Okay, they responded. My cousin says she knows some people, so I'm asking her. If they would come on if one of them would come on the podcast. You said P. Okay, so P would be. I like pensive. So pensive, haven't used this word in a while. Pensive means engaging in, involving, or reflecting deep or serious thought. I would consider myself a very pensive person. And I think that ties into me being an introvert. So I'd rather think about what I'm doing instead of actually doing first. I like to think first and then act later. So that's why I consider myself very pensive. I like to just think about things, think them from start to end, and kind of flesh out my whole idea. So pensive. So that was a vocabulary segment, but I'm gonna integrate that into the podcast later in a better way. So my bike, update on my bikes. People who don't know, I'm a bike messenger. My bike got fucked up, and what I'm about to say goes into the fact of anybody being self-sufficient. I think if you have something, you should know how to fix it, and you should have a lot of fail safes. Is that your phone? What is that? Whose phone was that? Oh, that's my laptop probably. I think that where was I? Yeah, I think that you should be self-sufficient because for this reason, you need to know how to take care of yourself. You need to know that if something were to go wrong with anything in your life that you can fix it. And For me, I learned how to fix my bike for that exact reason. There's a person that I know named, and he had built my bike for me a long time ago, and it's very weird. If I'm in the city and he's in the city, he'll come from 3-4 miles away to come help me with my bike. It's weird. It happens all the time, even from 4 years ago. But when it comes to him being at his house and then coming to my house, it's always a problem, and it's not like a little problem. It'll be something like, okay, hey, he'll tell me I'm gonna come to your house tomorrow. I'll be like, all right, bet. What time? He'll say 10 o'clock. I'm like, all right, cool. He won't come to my house. He won't tell me he's not coming to my house, and then he won't tell me why he didn't come to my house, and then I won't hear from him anymore. And I'm just like, and then it's on top of the fact that he will offer to come fix something or come add something to my bike or do something more for my bike. So that's where it becomes weird, where it's like, okay, we'll be hanging out. He'll go, hey, you know, I could do this for you. I could add a key switch. I could add a throttle. I can add a new motor on your bike. And I'm like, I bet. Come over tomorrow and do it. And he'll be like, I'll be like, I bet. He's like, all right, cool. I'm like, so can you do that? He's like, all right, cool. I can come tomorrow. All right, cool. Come tomorrow. And then, like I said before, I don't get a response. I don't get a phone call that he's not coming, a text he's not coming, nothing. So I have to call him again 3-4 days in a row. So then he'll come 4 days later, 5 days later, fix the bike. And I'm like, I could have been working all of those days. And not only that, I understand that things come up. Say something. For anybody that's running a business or even interacting with people, things are going to happen. And I don't think it's on the person and there's interaction. So in that case, if it's me that's going through, if it's him that's going through something, I think that he should tell me, and I should not be upset about something happening. So if he says, hey, look, my house burned down, it would be wrong of me to say, well, I don't care, you should came anyways. Don't be that person. You should understand what's happening. But then it goes back to his quote where he goes, okay, since how would I call it? What would I word this as? Think about it like tennis, right? When you say the ball's in your court, right? So you start off with the ball being in my court. I say, hey, if I want my bike fixed, I text him, hey, boom, can you fix my bike? Now the ball's in his court. He can say yes or no. He goes, yes, boom, hits it back over to my court. I go, all right, thank you. But I don't know what day he's gonna fix it, so I have to ask him, hey, Duke, what day are you gonna fix my bike? Hit the ball back to his court. He says 10 a.m. So now the ball is in his court. He has said he will come at 10 a.m. So now the understanding of our conversation is you will be here at this specific time that you set because the ball's in your court right now. So the agreement is what was said about 10 a.m. So when 10 a.m. comes and you don't say anything, the ball's still in your court. So now it's your job to say, hey, I'm not going to make it by 10, or I'm not going to come because of, like I said, a fire. Now the ball's in my court. Now I have to react to what he said. Now it would be wrong for me to go, like I said earlier, nah, fuck out of here. I don't care. You should have been here. You said 10 a.m. You're supposed to come when you say 10, right? I have to be more understanding. The ball's in my court. I go, look, I understand. Can you reschedule, come at a different time? I hit the ball back to his court. He can say to me, yes, Don, if I can come at this time, or no, I can't come, or no, I choose not to do it anymore, whatever the case might be. So then once he responds to me, then I have to make a decision. The ball's now in my court. Do I decide to go with somebody else, or do I decide that I learn how to fix the bike myself, or do I decide to have somebody else fix the bike? It's different things once the ball's in my court. The problem that I have is that this is how I believe what would that be? Not truthful, not honest either. This is how a mature conversation or a mature interaction would go. So now he said to me, if he had said to me, I can't fix the bike. Now, like I said, the ball's in my court. Now I do whatever choice I come up with. Once I say, okay, I'll take care of it, convo could be done, right? That's how it should go. How it ends up going is once I hit the ball back to his court and I say, hey, well, you come tomorrow at 10 and I don't get a response, now we have a problem. Now we're not handling this as two mature adults, because I'm trying to get back to work, right? And it's on you. If you agree to help me get back to work, that part is on you. And if you decide at any point that you don't want to do that, which is fine, I can be upset about that. But if you decide at any point you don't want to do that, I can't force you to do that. But now by you not doing anything, you're making it harder for me to make decisions. So That's what happened over the weekend, over the last week. He was supposed to fix my bike uh, on Saturday. Today is Tuesday. Honestly, was it Saturday? It wasn't Saturday. He was supposed to fix my bike on Thursday. It was after the memorial because I got the stuff I needed for my bike on Wednesday, and I texted him and said, "Yeah, I'll come over tomorrow morning." I'm like, "I bet I'm about to get back to work as soon as I can." I didn't hear from him all day, and I'm calling him. He's saying he's gonna come. No, let me see if I can even find text messages from that day. Um. Uh. And another thing too is this is not the first time this has happened. Like this has happened before, and this is one of the things that for me that I have an issue with just with people in general, or even just I guess it would be people. Is this a personality traits maybe? The reason I don't like to check people on things is for this exact reason. Because once I say, "Hey, I don't like this thing," or "You are doing this thing," and they disregard it, I don't care anymore. Now I'm like, all right, once I've did my part, like I said, the ball's in my court. If you do something to me that I don't like and I don't tell you, I can't be mad at you for not knowing. But once I say it to you and go, hey, I don't like this thing or I like that thing, and you continue to do that thing, now it comes across it to me as malicious. So we've had this conversation before where I have said to him, this was years ago. I'm like, yo, listen, I think the way that you're acting, I might have said feminine, I might have used. This was a different time when I was, younger. I'm like, listen, I don't like what you're doing. You're telling me you're gonna be here. You're telling me you're gonna do that. You're telling me you're gonna do this, and you're not doing any of those things. And I find it rude or disrespectful, whatever. You can at least just say, hey, Donovan, I'm not gonna come, or Donovan, this happened to me. Just let me know what's going on. So if we're working on something together, then I can make adjustments to what's happening. But if you don't tell me anything and then you just disappear, now I'm upset. And it was a long conversation, and it was over text because I don't like texting. But for that reason, I forgot why I was texting. Because when I get on the phone with somebody and talk about these things, or in person, they feel like they're being attacked, and I don't know how to talk to somebody and tell them a problem that I have with them without them feeling like they're being attacked. So I'll talk to somebody, and in my opinion, I think I try to bring it down to a level where it's not rude, but then they feel offended by it. And the only time I've realized that somebody will feel like I'm not attacking them is if I act very, very submissive when I tell them the problem that I'm having. But if I come to them on a neutral standpoint, they take it as, oh, Donovan, you're being so aggressive to me. Why are you being so mean and rude? And it's like, okay, if I was trying to be mean and rude, it would be way higher and way more aggressive than it is right now. So I'm coming to you at a neutral point, and neutral to me means not saying anything or any words that are trying to take power from you or belittle you. So if I come to somebody and I say, I do not like that you did not tell me you were not going to come tomorrow. There is no, I think that you're lazy. I think that you're rude. It's none of that. I'm not trying to offend the person. I'm saying exactly what happened. I'm saying exactly what I don't like. Now, somebody goes, I can't believe you would say that to me, Donovan. I can't believe this and that. And it's like, I don't understand why you're reacting the way it is. I'm explaining to you what I don't like. Now, we can have a conversation and fix this problem going forward. Or you can say, I don't give a fuck, Donovan. I'm like, I bet. I know where we stand. But I feel like whenever I have this conversation or try to have this conversation with people, it doesn't usually go in a neutral standpoint from both people, because when somebody gets called out for something that they're doing, they take it as offensive. And to me, that's a trait of somebody who's immature. They aren't able to handle someone telling them something they did was wrong. And I have a problem with talking to people like that. If I say something that you did was wrong, then you should be able to say to me, why do you think it was wrong? Or I don't think it was wrong, or you're right, I was wrong, my bad, whatever. And then actually do the work to try and fix that problem. So, who's the water? Give me a second. Gotta wipe my mouth. So like I said, we had this conversation before. So this is one of the reasons why, because I'm not gonna continue to keep telling somebody what they're doing wrong over and over again. That's not my job. If I tell you once, then after that, I'm gonna react however I feel like reacting. Once I give you the courtesy of telling you what the problem is, you can then try and fix it or not fix it. But I'm gonna do what I feel like doing after that. So on Thursday, he said he's gonna fix my bike. Oh, that's right. I was gonna look for the text messages and read those. So this is okay. I said on Wednesday at 11:29 a.m. I said I'm trying to get back to work this week, and the hall sensors come in today. If I pay you $300, can you come to my house tomorrow to fix the bike? He said, "Don't worry, I'll come fix it tomorrow for you early in the morning." He said also $300 is way too much. $100 is okay. So on Wednesday, the same day, I said, "Copy. What time tomorrow?" He said 9 a.m. So Thursday at 8:47 a.m., I said, "Do I need to go to Home Depot to get new hall wires?" He said, "Yeah, some hall sensor wire, little ones. I just woke up and still." Oh, so at 8:47 a.m., I said, "Do I need to go to Home Depot to get new hall wires?" On Thursday, the day's supposed to come at 9 a.m. He texted me at 2:26. "Yeah, some hall sensor wires, the little ones. I just woke up, still not done with battery and wiring. I'm not even working today. So I'll definitely fix your bike today. Just be patient." This is 2:26 p.m. So at Thursday, same day, I said copy at 6:30. I didn't hear from him all day. Then Friday comes. I said, "Are you coming today?" Which will be Friday, which is Thursday is gone. He didn't respond to me all of Friday at all. Nothing. I didn't get a phone call. I didn't get a text. Nothing. It's all Friday. So he's supposed to come Thursday. He's supposed to come here Thursday. Say he was late. Then he didn't come at all. And then Friday, I text him. He didn't respond to the text on Friday until Saturday. He said, "My bad, bro. We'll stop by tomorrow to fix your bike." I said, "Copy. What time?" This is Saturday morning. He said, "This is Saturday night." He said in the morning, which would be Sunday morning. I did not get a response from him until Sunday at 6:10. He said couldn't come because I left my tools at the house. So this is what I'm saying. This is the kind of things that annoy me because I'm like, I feel to me, a mature person would just say, "I am not going to come." When you realize you cannot go somewhere, just text a person. And if they get mad at you, you can say, "Listen, I can't control this. I can't control that. My job is only to tell you that I can't make it. So if you have plans, you can fix and you can act accordingly based on whatever plans you have." The ball's in my court. I realized that I couldn't come at this certain time. When I learned that, I hit the ball back to your court. "Listen, bro, I can't come. I tried, whatever, this, that, and the third." So like I said, that's why it annoyed me. However, because of these type of things, I'm used to this. I'm like, okay, it's good to have a lot of different fail safes. So when things like this happen, because I know that people can be very unreliable, you got to go, okay, how can I approach this situation and every other situation differently? So for me, it worked out because I know somebody else named Matt who knows how to fix bikes. So I hit him up on Saturday. So he had came on Saturday to fix my bike. And everything was working fine. So I'm like, this is perfect. I paid him to fix the bike, and then he came over. How long were we downstairs? Probably like 6 hours, probably working on the bike. He changed the halls out. Everything's working perfectly. So I'm like, I bet he turned the throttle. Everything good. I'm like, bro, and we had some good conversations. Whenever I hang out with Matt, we have some very good conversations when it comes to what would I call it? I guess I don't alternative thinking and things that I think our conversation become very deep. We talk about molecular structures and atoms and how what resonance is, how frequencies affect the body, and how different instruments such as like a subwoofer. I feel like the conversations that we have are very deep and they're very mentally stimulating. So it's good whenever I hang out with him. We have good conversations. I think that you should have people around you who are like that. I don't ever feel like I get a weird, and even how I met Matt is crazy. I don't ever feel like I get a weird vibe from him when things happen. I feel like if he can fix something, he'll say I can fix it. If he feel like he can't, he won't. And I feel like that's it. It's never anything weird like this. So like I said, he's fixed my battery before. He's fixed my battery on multiple occasions. It just seems normal. And my goal is to try and build up a community of people around me that are like that. I want to have people who I don't have these weird problems with, like people that make you feel good, people that you're around that just are fun to be around. I want to be around more people who are like that. So I'm working on trying to figure out what kind of people those are, because I don't know how to find them. I know when you do find them, what it feels like, but I don't know where would I go to look for these people. And maybe it's one of those things where it's like one every 75 people are like that. Who knows? But I'm hoping, or I'm thinking that these kind of people who are like that congregate in a certain place, and I can go to that place and hang out with those kind of people. Because a lot of times I talk to certain people, I can't even get into full. I can't even use my full range of intelligence to talk to somebody because their capacity is so small. So once I start talking about something, two things either happen, and it's not. I can't even say they don't understand, because I feel like if I was to say that they don't understand, people who don't understand and want to learn will ask a question and go, okay, I don't understand what you're saying, but can you explain so I can understand? Other people, which I don't like, they'll just say, okay, well, that's fine. Or they'll just change the subject because they don't want to feel dumb in that conversation. For me personally, if I don't know something, listen, explain that to me. I don't know. How does that work? Why does it work like that? How does this work? What happens if this happens? What happens if that happens? That's me. And I feel like I want to be around people who want to learn, who rather feel dumb for a second and learn something instead of feeling dumb forever so they can feel good in that moment. I don't like people like that. It's annoying. So I'm trying to figure out where can I find more people who are like that. So like I said, the conversation that we had was really cool. So the bike was fixed, right? That was on Saturday. Saturday? What's today? Today is definitely not Thursday. Yeah. So the bike was fixed on Saturday. Right, the bike was fixed on Saturday. I was gonna try and work on Sunday, bruh. I went downstairs to try and just make sure the bike was the bike was working. I had to add a new throttle to the bike. I had to add a key switch to the bike for security, so I could turn the bike off and on in case something happens. And it's harder to kind of steal the bike if you have a key switch on. You can't just get on it and just go. And I had to put the tire from the old wheel back on the new wheel. I had to change the rotor on the bike because one of them is bent. I tried to change the rear shock, bro. I had to try and saw off some bolts because they were stripped and that didn't work at all. It did nothing nothing came from that at all. Nothing changed. So I'm like, that was just a waste of time. I went downstairs to work to go. I went downstairs to change something. I should have taken an hour to 2 hours at 12 o'clock. I should have been at work by 3:30, 4 o'clock. I did not leave the basement until 1:30 in the morning. I was there from 12 p.m. to 1 a.m. in the morning. Bruh, all day I'm like troubleshooting this. I would do one thing, then this don't work. I do a second thing, then that don't work. I'm just like, bruh, I don't understand why these things keep happening. So then I finally get everything ready. I'm ready to go. I'm like, all right, bet. I done changed the wires up a bunch of times. I done tried sawing this off. I done drilled this in and drilled that out and cut this off and soldered this. I'm hot gluing that and drilling holes in here. I'm just doing all type of shit for 12 hours straight. I'm just doing all type of stuff to the bike. I'm like, all right. Oh, so that's the thing that happened. So everything I got was working. And then I mind you, like I said, Matt fixed the bike, so the motor was working. That was the problem with the bike. I finally decide, okay, the bike is ready to be fixed. The bike is ready to ride, right? I pull the throttle, and it's having the same problem that it had before Matt fixed the bike. And I can't understand why the fuck this is happening. I'm like, bruh, mind you, I'm already like 8 to 9. I'm about 8 hours in at this point. I'm like, this don't make any sense. Maybe 9 hours in at this point. I'm like, this shit don't make no fucking sense. Nothing changed. There's no reason that the thing should not work. So then I got troubleshoot that. I finally get the wheel to spin, and I'm ecstatic. I'm like, yes. I'm like, the bike is fucking working. Yeah, thank God. I turn the bike back upside down, or up, right side up. I put the battery back in the bike. I put the wires back in the bike. The key switch is in the bike. Oh, speaking of key switch, I drilled the hole for the key switch in the bike. I put it in the wrong spot. I had to cover that hole, drill another hole, put the key switch in. It was like that all day. So I get everything ready. I'm like, yeah, test ride my bike. Here we go. I get on the bike. I turn the throttle. The bike goes backwards. I'm like, bruh, you're not fucking serious. Mind you, this is the first time in my entire life I have ever seen my bike wheel go back. Ever. It's never gone backwards before. And now I'm looking at this shit because I'm like, there's a delay between when you pull the throttle and when it actually moves. So I pulled it and I felt the bike move a little bit. I'm like, okay. And I'm like, wait, is the shit going backwards? I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, now I gotta take the whole bike apart again and figure out why the shit's going backwards. Now, I guess it's hindsight's 2020. That's not true. That's not what this is. I found out later that if the wheel is spinning backwards, all you have to do is go into the controller and switch setting from 0 to 1, and it would make the wheel go back the other way. But not me. That's not what I did, because I didn't know that. You know what I did? Took the whole bike apart again, changed the wires again, and then put the bike back together, and then made the wheel go the right way. Bruh, I didn't have to do any of that. I could just press the 0 to 1, and that would have been fine. But now the bike is working. I rode yesterday. And then, so, me and Melissa go to the city. Gonna take her to Whole Foods. We'll get on the bike to go to Whole Foods. And I pull the throttle. The shit don't work. I'm like, bruh. I'm like, you can't be fucking serious. I'm like, bruh, it don't make no sense. It's been fucking, I'm like, almost 3 days now. Everything is working perfectly fine. Getting the bike is not working. So now we're sitting there for probably like 15, 20 minutes trying to fix the bike. And then I'm like, all right, it's fixed. I got this shit working. I'm like, all right, I'm going to test ride it, Melissa. I ride around the block. The shit stopped working again. I'm just like, oh my God. This don't make no. I'm like, you can't be serious. All I'm trying to do is go to work. Because like I said, y'all know the plan. Y'all know the vibes. Y'all know the deal. All right. Once I get this bag, once I get this money from me working right now, I'm going to take that money and invest in that real estate course. I'm going to own property. I'm telling you right now. Y'all going to hear it. Y'all going to see it. Because this is one thing I want Melissa to know too. I don't think she knows this. Because I want Melissa to know this. And it's for me, not for me, but for Melissa and for people listening and watching, right? The YouTube, the podcasts, the Instagrams, the Twitters, the Facebooks, right? All of those things, all social media, right? I believe that, I'm looking for Melissa. I believe that Melissa thinks that that we should be chasing the YouTube, that we should be chasing the podcast, that we should be chasing the food page, and we should be chasing the music, the clothing, the fitness, the sports, and every other pages, right? I'm gonna tell you what I mean when I say that. So, our success, the battery for our success is us, me and Melissa. So, those things will get better once we get better. If we try to make those things better and then use that to make us better, it's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. That's not our plan. Our plan is for us to be the battery, because same thing with Kevin Hart, same thing with De'Ara, same thing with most celebrities that you see. If they decide that, okay, boom, I want to join Instagram tomorrow, I want to join TikTok tomorrow, they don't have to be good at TikTok. All they got to do is say, I'm on TikTok now, and they get 1 million followers on TikTok. All they got to do is say, hey, you know what, guys? I decided to make a Instagram Reels page. They go on that, 1 million followers on there. You know what? I have 100 subscribers on Instagram. On Instagram. I'm gonna go on YouTube. Boom, I got 20,000 subscribers like that. I want us to be that great. So an example of that, or what I mean by that is, if I own 5 properties and Melissa has a badass body, right? Bad body, and she has a bunch of money, she's able to travel, people are gonna be like, how the fuck can they do that? How are they able to do that, right? And then they will come and watch the YouTube. They will come and watch the podcast. They will come and they will listen to the food, eat the food that we eat. Once they see that we have a proof of concept. When we do it, then they'll do it, because they want to know our life. But I feel like sometimes Melissa forgets that. I feel like sometimes she thinks that we need to make the YouTube great. She's like, if we can make the YouTube great, if we can make that great and that great, then we'll be great. And it's like, those things should be following you. You shouldn't be following them. So if you are already great, then your YouTube should be great. I don't think it should be the other way around, where my YouTube is great and now I'm going to be benefiting off of that. But what do you want to say? I feel like you're getting close to the mic, like you want to talk.
Yeah, I do forget that sometimes. Because it's like anything else. Like when you feel like you're putting in the work and then you don't see the results that you're expecting to see, that's not even true. Okay, So the Bamboo Project is the Bamboo Project for a reason. It's set up a certain way for a reason, yes. And it means what it means. And sometimes that just don't be clicking in my head. I be thinking that what happened?
I'm listening. You're right.
Oh, it doesn't. It doesn't click in my head because I'm like I've been put. I know that the videos is fire. I know the food that I'm cooking is fire. I know all these things, and I'm doing all these things, and I'm like nobody sees it. Nobody's watching the videos. Nobody's like the growth is not fast enough for me because I feel like what I'm doing is all the way up here, and then the growth is all the way down here. And that's literally how it's supposed to go due to the nature of what we're doing. Mm-hmm. So if I stray from the nature of what we're doing, like it'll bring faster growth, but it's not gonna be long lasting like people that fuck with us.
Right.
And I'm just saying I understand it, but in my core, like logically, it makes very much a lot of sense. Mm-hmm. But in my soul, I feel very disappointed when I look at this video that I spent days working on and only got 5 views. Like, it's just how it is.
And I'm going to explain to you why I think that is. So, like I said, Melissa, in my opinion, is chasing growth are you crying?
Yes.
Why are you crying?
Because what I said is true about how I feel.
What? What do you mean?
That I feel like I put in a lot of work and I feel like I don't see the payment of it now. It's not instantaneous. So I be feeling like, fuck, I'm doing this shit for. Yeah, it's very, it feels like it's out of my control.
Okay. So one thing my dad used to always tell me when I was younger, and I think that I would not say I don't believe I'm in upper echelons of this, but he always talked about the problem of instant gratification and how people should strive for delayed gratification. And a lot of successful people understand that, especially in investing, that delayed gratification is what you want, because the work you put in now, if you put the work in today and get the results tomorrow, you're probably going to lose the results as fast as you got them because you didn't. It's the same thing with the 3 little pigs. I think people forget that story where it's like all of the pigs built their shit mad quick. Oh, use some straw. I built my house. I'm gonna use this other one. I don't know what the other one used. Maybe some sticks. Got a nice stick house and some straw house. I'm good. And they were shitting on my man with the bricks. They were shitting. Oh, you ain't ready yet. Oh, you can't live in your house yet. Oh my God, you don't have a fireplace. Right. You're like, all right, listen, y'all cool. Listen, all the girls want to come to your house now, that's fine. But when the wind come and the wind blow and, that shit fall over, your house catch on fire, you're going to be mad. But you know where I'm going to be at? I'm going to be real comfortable in my house. The girls that you had to come to my house, all the money is going to still be safe in my house. And when a big bad wolf come, I'm going to be safe because I put the work in to build this. And what's going to end up happening is the people who the 2 pigs in that scenario are going to have to end up doing one of 2 things. Have to come live in my house. I'm going to charge them to live in my house. Or 2, which means you make more money. Or 2, they're going to realize, damn, now I gotta spend another 3 years to build me a house that's safe and secure because I wasted my time building their straw shit. And he already been working on it, building his thing up. So when it comes to the YouTube with Melissa, the thing I want to say to you is I feel like the videos that you make should be geared to what you are doing, which are the projects. And I think that when you stray away from that, it makes the vision of the YouTube a little bit more scattered. And I think that's what causes the problem, because if you're making the videos based off of what you're actually doing, then you can see growth in what you're doing. But if you have a video that's like a vlog of you hanging out with Ebony, and then you have a vlog of you like going to your mom's house to eat food or something like that. The purpose of the Bamboo Project is for you to show the growth of you doing the things that are on the project list. So, and it's of you doing your own self growth. That's the purpose of it. So it's like, okay, what is Melissa doing to become better? So then when you do the videos, it's like, okay, last week I put a video up of me making let's say blueberry muffins, right? And then I also have a video up of me doing music, right? So each week will be a video of you getting better at those things, improving in those things. And I believe that the growth will come with you improving in those things. But the more that you make videos that are not in line with those things, the longer it will take for you to grow in those areas. So I feel like if you're trying to get YouTube growth, which even doesn't even equate to actual money, then you'll have growth, but then you won't have the other stuff. So you have a bunch of people watching your videos of you hanging out with your friends. You have a bunch of people watching videos of you, let me see what's something else, playing with Kitty, right? And it's like, okay, so now you have money, but you build a following of people who want to see you hanging out with friends and playing with Kitty. If you build a following of the thing that you do regularly or make money off of, you can make money off of that thing. What? I feel like you were thinking something.
No, I'm thinking about what I would really change, because that's mostly what I do. I think I only really started posting, I guess, vlog type videos recently, and even then I still talk about the food. I still talk about the things that I do. So, but I yeah.
So that's what I think. This is also the first week that we have decided to go full steam with the schedule behind me over here. Podcast is on there, right there on the second day.
The one that I'm producing, that one for me, yeah. Do you want to go through the thing? Because I don't think they can see it.
They can't see. I could put a picture of it on here probably.
If they're listening to it.
You said what?
What they're listening to?
Oh, so people who are listening to it, we have a schedule for. We have a schedule
for Melissa. Donovan created a schedule for Melissa.
I created a schedule to help Melissa have a guideline so she's not overwhelmed with what she's doing.
I'm still overwhelmed. Don't think
you're not overwhelmed. The only time you're overwhelmed is when you don't follow.
When I don't follow the schedule.
That's the only time. If she follows the schedule, like, oh, this is great. I can follow the schedule. This is everything. I have so much extra time. I have free time to do whatever I want. I have time to do more of the other stuff. She don't follow the schedule. I don't know what to do. It's a music day, but I didn't do the food the other day. Should I do that today? And I'm late on the video. Should I make another video? Oh my god! And then it's like, and now we don't have no food. Now we don't have no music went out. We don't have no Instagram posts, and we just and that's what ends up happening. So Monday is edit day. Let me see. That's Sunday. Sunday is edit day. That's not right either. Okay. Sunday.
It can still hear you.
What? But it don't sound how it does. I know I'm gonna do. Okay. So Sunday is edit day. Monday is for food. Tuesday is for podcasts. Wednesday is for edit. Thursday is clothes and food. So what that means is the clothes is the main thing for that day, and then it will be food underneath that. Friday is edit, and Saturday is music. So, like I said, how much time is were you recording today's time?
I did not, but we are 54 minutes.
Okay, so yeah, okay, that's about a little bit longer than I expected, but not that much. But it is definitely more. I'm still on life update and shit, but regardless, this is part of the podcast. So, one of the things that I want is for us to get paid off of all of those things, not just YouTube. So, if I ask you right now, what is your goal or how you plan on getting paid off of your clothing? What are you doing to get paid off of that?
So when you're asking me that, you mean like leading up to actually selling it? Well, first thing that I'm planning on doing is actually fleshing out the ideas of what I want to wear. So I've been trying to find like different mood boards, whatever, for the type of clothes that I'd like to create and what I'd like to see myself wearing. So that's first thing. Second thing is going out and learning how to make the clothes, finding patterns that align with whatever it is I'm trying to make. That's the second thing. Third thing would be to start manufacturing those clothing, like actually sewing it, finding the fabrics and so on and so forth. Fourth thing would be to get those down to a process that's repeatable. So that I can make different sizes or that I can expand it in. And I would like to make those patterns or tweak them to my liking. So I can sell the patterns on Etsy. for other people that would also like to sew. And then, I want to model my clothing. So I want to start wearing it, like looking like a bad bitch outside in my clothes, so that people could be like, "Oh my God, where'd you get that from? Yo, that's crazy. Where? Oh my goodness, you always dressing so immaculately." So once I start getting those comments, I get to, I tag the Bamboo Project clothing. No, I tag the Bamboo Project clothing so they know where I got it. And then if they would like to shop, direct them to the bambooprojects.com, because we do have a website. And then that's where that's where they can start shopping and stuff. So that's how I see me going about doing that.
And what about food?
I have to go through the same thing.
I don't know. I'm asking you. Because the reason I'm asking these questions is because I would like to know where you are on these steps.
Okay, so with the food, definitely would like to. Well, I kind of have a food glossary in my head. So for the foods that we eat, for example, if a recipe has cornstarch, which is typically used as a thickener in sauces and stuff like that, cornstarch is terrible. It's corn and it's starch. So what a substitute for that would be is whatever amount of cornstarch, you double the amount, and that's how much flour you should put in there, and that'll be the substitute. So basically, I need to come up with a whole list of electric substitutes for common either spices or common different, like, how do I explain it? Because food is very science. Food is very much like science and very technical. So you just putting something in there isn't necessarily just for flavor. It actually has to do something in the food, like baking soda and vinegar and all of that stuff. So coming up with substitutes is very important, because once I do that, it'll open the amount of foods that I can make. I can essentially make anything that I want to make with using the substitutes. So that's something I really very much want to focus on. Okay, you breathe.
You know what my question was?
The question was, how am I gonna sell the food?
How you gonna make money?
How I'm gonna make money? Oh yeah. So once I have my substitutes and once I have a good amount of recipes, I would like to put that into like a cookbook and a meal plan. So that can be sold that way. And I also want to start delivering, like making, like, I don't know, muffins, things that last longer, had to have a longer shelf life, that I can like sell to people, so they could kind of hit us up online and be like, hey, can I get food to last me this amount for the week or something like that, and then they pay us a certain amount for that food. Or if they wanted to, like, kind of like just Uber Eats, like going to McDonald's or something like that, where if you're hungry today, right now you want a taco, I can make a taco and send it to you. So that's the other things that I was thinking about. Oh, and I also wanted to go to campuses and stuff like that. This is prior to COVID-19, to start selling in person, or like farmers markets and things like that.
So what's one of those? What are you doing from that list? I don't feel like you're doing those things.
I don't think I've written them down.
I think that's also true, because I don't think that you're doing those things.
I haven't written it down. I haven't fleshed it out this far.
Right, and that's
and I'm like, it sounds like it'll work when I say it.
That's my hope. That's my point that I'm getting to, is that these are the things that you're thinking about, but you're not doing these things. So if you put these things down and then do them, then you would be going step by step from A to Z, getting through this process. But if you are not thinking about it like that, and you're all over the place when it comes to, okay, this week, maybe I'll do this, or maybe I'll do that, or maybe I'll do this one or that, then you don't ever get to do anything. And then we'll be in December and you'll be saying, I would like to go to colleges, but before COVID-19, I was going to do that, but then I didn't, because, COVID-19 hit, and you don't want to be in a situation. So, and like I said, I also want to, let me see, I'm trying to explain. I would much rather make $1,000 a month on YouTube than $10,000 a month on YouTube if every project that we have is making us $1,000. So if we're making $1,000 off of real estate, $1,000 off of food, $1,000 off of music, $1,000 off of the podcast, I'd rather have $1,000 worth of all of those things than having $10,000 or $15,000 off of YouTube and clothing. I would rather have $1,000 off of each one of those things a month than YouTube, because there's more room for growth. Because at the end of the day, let's say that, I don't know, I think the top YouTuber is probably making like $12 million a year or something like that. I feel like it's 12 million. I don't know what it is, but something like that. Excuse me. That's the highest end of YouTube. That's literally the highest ends of the YouTube realm. And I feel like when it comes to podcasts, you have people who are making $30 million a year of podcasts. You have people who are making, $1 million for clothes and food. And like I said, I want to get into real estate. There is so much more room for growth when you spread it out amongst those different things. So that's why I want us to focus more on those things as opposed to YouTube. YouTube is just an extra stream of income for us to take what we already do in our day-to-day life and put it on there. But our day-to-day life has to be of us. The videos of our day-to-day life have to be of us doing the things to get us to the point where we are very successful. Like I said, that's kind of when I want us to lean more into doing that. So that is that. Melissa got unemployment today, so that is very good. Hopefully that pushes the projects forward some more. The memorial we went to last Wednesday, I wouldn't say I'm happy I went. I don't think I benefited from going at all. It's just an experience that I had going. I feel like the memorial again was for the people that went. It wasn't really for him. So, and even then, I wasn't really feeling it. I ended up eating some food there that I knew I shouldn't have eaten, and I got a pimple. Like the next day, it looked like the dude from Timmy Turner who had the boil on his face. I just had this big ass pimple, and I just knew it was fucked up. Melissa's period came late, though she was pregnant. She was going through all types of shit literally in the house because of her eating that food. It was just a disaster. It was just that shit fucked us up, man. This is exactly why I'm doing series on the podcast. What? If you really wanted to go into she was throwing up, shitting, all types of fucked up. Couldn't sit. Everything was wilding. She was just bugging. So her body was not fucking with her. So this is one of the reasons why I want to be doing a couple of these podcasts about the food that we eat, because when Melissa eats regular food, her periods are like, a little stomach vibrations and she's good to go. And then she eats non-electric food and it's World War VII. So I feel like, and next I had a pimple on my face. And I don't get pimples like that. And this shit was big. I had small ones on my forehead. It was just, and something, I don't even know if I took it. Yeah, it was just bad. And people who still eat regular food won't understand what I'm talking about until you switch. Because you'll switch and be like, I didn't know this is what happens when I don't eat that bad food. Like you don't even know how bad it is until you stop eating it. The things about your body that happen on a regular basis you probably think are normal. They're not normal. The things that you think every day that you eat and you go to sleep, that's not normal. You eat and you get pimples, that's not normal. You're eating and you have mucus, that's not normal. Like these are things that should not be happening. You eat and you don't have energy, that is not normal. You eat, your stomach hurts, that your stomach is bloated, that is not normal. These things are not supposed to happen to you when you eat food. But people don't understand these things. Like your hair fall, it's just everything that happens to your body for the most part I can think of is tied to what you eat. Like everything, if it goes in your body, if it has to come out of your body, it probably comes from the food you put into it. Bar. Okay, so can you go back down? I was gonna look this up before I even started this shit, but I didn't. Oh, you know what this is? I put that up there. I'm probably gonna put that up there. I'm gonna do Donovan's questions before I get to the episode playback. My first question is, if God, hold on, let me just take a deep breath. This is Donovan's questions. Where I ask a question, you just something for you to think about, to attribute your pensive personality to. I used that word pensive. You saw that? So here's Donovan's questions. I'm not going to try and lead you on with anything. I'm just going to ask a question and you think about it. Question number 1. If God came to Earth and the news said it was fake, would you believe it? Question number 2. Who would you trust to tell you that aliens are real? Say that one more time. Who would you trust to tell you the aliens are real. That's it for Donovan's questions and episode playback. So we talked about this a little bit. Melissa said that I tend to say the most galvanizing thing, which is one of my old words I used to use back in the day, is to get an emotional response out of people, which is partly true because I feel like I can people are more likely to engage in the conversation when they feel something about what we're talking about. If I said something to somebody and they didn't feel anything about it, I don't think we would have an actual dialogue about it. They would just go, "Oh, yeah, okay, you're right." So I'd rather say something like, "Damn, your pussy stink," and they were like, "What? Why you say that?" And I'm like, "Listen, I feel like the food that you eat is not healthy for you, and it tends to have a stench that comes from your vagina. And I think it's that. Listen, you're probably allergic to eating that food. You eat it every time. Every time you eat garlic, your pussy smells like garlic. It smells like whatever you eat that day. That's not good for you. I want you to be healthy." See, when you put it like that, now they listening. So let's say your pussy stink. Now they want to, what you mean? Now explain to them. But if I let off with, I think that, you should eat different food because then you smell better. And then they go, what? What do you, okay, sure. But they didn't hear that. Your pussy stink. They hear that. People hear that, right? One of the reasons why I have the podcast is because I feel like the best way to learn something is to teach it. So the more that I try and teach, or not even teach, the more I try to communicate my thoughts to other people, the better I understand what I'm saying. So that's one purpose of the podcast. And if I talk about it, then I'll have it more readily available to use in conversation because I'm talking about it regularly. I'm looking it up regularly. One of the problems I used to have before is I was studying all these different things. I'm learning all these different things and I have nowhere to use them. I have nothing to do with them. I just know all this information for no reason. What's the point of knowing what resonance is if you can't use that shit? Like it don't make no sense. What's the point of knowing how to pick up girls if you're not gonna try and talk to them? Like it don't make sense if you know everything and don't use it. So I felt like, okay, I need to have a platform that allows me to use what I've learned. And it allows me, once I've used what I've learned, it allows me to then go, oh, okay, that doesn't make sense. Oh, that could be said better this way. Or, oh, I can, what that word start with an L to make things shorter? About to finesse that shit real quick. It will start with an L. I could be more laconic when I speak because then remember, laconic means to make brief. If I can be more laconic in my speech, then it allows for it to be more digestible by the people listening to what I'm saying. That's if people don't know, that's how Donald Trump became president, because he speaks like that. He speaks in buzzwords and in headlines. So when he says it over and over again, it's easy for you to process it. You remember what he said, and then you go out and you tell all your other friends, yo, make America great again. Make America great again. Those are very simple words, and you remember them. Make America great again. The Chinese flu, the Kung flu. You remember these things. And then when he says it, he'll say it 5, 6, 7, 8 times, so you remember it. And next thing you know, you're saying that shit all over the place. So I'm gonna try and incorporate that over the lifestyle of this podcast. What? What's she doing?
She's pushing the camera.
Like with her back? Kitty.
She put her feet underneath the foot of the tripod.
Kitty. She moving?
I don't know. She's not moving. She's comfortable.
Kitty. Kitty.
I mean, is it moving? It's not.
It was moving before.
It was.
Yeah.
Let's see how it goes. If it falls over, we don't sense it. I got you. She's not afraid of it. What's his name?
Okay. So yeah, that's that. Yeah, and this is another thing too, that's a issue I've had with Melissa and somebody else. It's it's not an issue. It's slightly annoying. That people don't like to say I don't know, and I feel like it's kind of weird to not say that I don't know. It's like we'll be having a conversation, I'll just be like, yeah, I wonder. Like, Melissa, why you think the sky is blue? And she'll go and look it up, and I'm like, what? You did today. it's on the bed for something. It did it once. It happened today. I forgot what it was about. Maybe it was about I feel like it was YouTube related or something. Yeah, it's definitely moving.
Kitty.
It's moving.
Because he's looking. Kitty. Kitty, go. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So this I have an issue with, right? Because I think it stems from people not wanting to be wrong. So
I feel like if I look it up, that's me acknowledging that I don't know what it is. And I feel like you're asking me for a reason. Like,
but I can look it up myself.
did you ask me because you thought I knew what it was?
I just want to know what you think.
Well, do you remember what it was that you were asking?
Oh, you talking about today? Today I don't remember what it was.
Okay. Because I understand what you were talking about before. Because I feel like I feel like the problem with it before was more so that you would ask me, example, you would ask me like, what does DNA mean,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I'll be like, and I'll look it up and I'll tell you that it's deoxyribonucleic acid, and then you'd be like, okay, so what is that? And I'd be like, it's deoxyribonucleic acid. Like, that's what DNA is. But that's not answering your question because there's no deep understanding of it on my point. It's just me regurgitating what I read. So I understand when you would be upset about that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's one reason that I don't like when people read things back, because, like, and I had, somebody used to do that too. And it's just weird because it doesn't help the conversation. And it's just strange to me. Yeah.
I mean, sometimes it's like I didn't know that you wanted it for conversational purposes. Like to talk about it. It's more so like I thought you were asking me because you want to know what that thing is.
But like if I said, do you know what DNA stands for?
Mm-hmm.
And you don't know what it stands for,
Mm-hmm.
why would you go look it up?
Because if you don't know something and you'd want to know what it is, you would look it up. Like, it's just
But actually, if I say, do you know what DNA stands for? And you go, hold on 1 second. It stands for, I'm like, so you don't know what it stands for? My question was never answered.
Okay.
So I feel like people should be comfortable with just saying, I don't know. And then say, I can look it up if you want me to. Like, I can check it out. I don't know what it means, but I can look it up. But I feel like people don't want to just look bad or don't want to say I don't know to certain things. And then, yeah, it's weird because I also feel like it comes, I don't know if it comes from a perfectionist place, because I feel like we had this conversation before and I've said, like, you don't want to say your thoughts because you don't want it to be wrong.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't think that that's a bad thing to be wrong. To be like, yeah, I don't, what DNA stand for? I think it stands for dinosaurs never age. And you're like, I don't think that's true. You're like, that's what it stands for. You're like, I don't know if that's true. I'm gonna look it up. Oh shit, it don't stand for that. Oh, okay. All right. What?
I'm wondering how much of that is like because of like my upbringing.
I mean, like I said, he was the same way. So that's why I'm like, so I don't know if you have similar upbringings. I don't know. I wouldn't say it's Caribbean things. I feel like there's too small of a sample size to say. But
I think if you're in any space that doesn't allow you to speak freely, you don't want to be wrong about the things that you're saying.
Yeah, that's interesting. So if somebody asks you a question that you don't know, just say I don't know. Just say, hey, do you know this? I don't know. Or just give your thoughts or your opinion, depending on what they ask you. Hey, why do you think that the sky is blue? I think it's blue because aliens flash a blue light on the earth and it makes it blue. You go, it's interesting. You think that. Okay. Like, that's what you think. All right, well, okay.
I'm trying to think. What would happen if I said I don't know to my mom? It would be a whole thing. What you mean you don't know? Me send you to school? I don't know.
No, I don't. Do you know? No, we both don't know.
But she didn't send herself to school. She sent me to school. That's the problem. Because
Send me to
I'm
different
supposed
school.
to know.
Send me to different school then. You should put me in the wrong school. That's that. Yeah, definitely have to make these intro. I want to get these down to probably like 40 minutes. I think an hour for this part is too long. Yeah, I think this should be about 40 minutes. Yeah, because like I said, I start to feel drained, and I didn't even get into the meat and potatoes of what I want to talk about today. Yeah, I am. I mean, that's what I have. That's next, the meat and potatoes. But I'm like, I already feel drained. But the highly processed food, because I wanted to look it up. Can you find out what highly processed food is? I have a note section in my phone where I was trying to understand the chemistry behind food, and I'm going to be going through that to have a better understanding of exactly what it is. As I go through it, I will then explain different things that I've learned throughout the process of me learning about food, and I will also be trying to uh, I will also be communicating the information I had that like I said, the corn shit is on the list for today because that shit blew my mind. When I found out about corn, my mind was blown. So, yeah, I'm gonna take a little break and get some muffin or something. We got fruit too. I might get some fruit. So yeah, the last thing from the episode playback segment will be you did the blue thing. Yeah, why highly processed food is bad, or what is highly processed food? You found that out? Yes. Okay.
So, highly processed food, you want me to read it? Okay. Highly processed food. Well, okay, so apparently the difference is ultra processed food versus processed food. Anything that does not leave the food in its original form is processing it. So if you cut an apple into pieces, you processed it.
Okay.
So the problem comes in with highly processed or ultra processed foods, which is pretty much snacks, drinks, ready meals, and many other products created mostly or entirely from substances extracted from foods or derived from food constituents with little, if any, intact food. And this definition is coming from heart.org.
Okay. So they're saying that because this is the thing that people also get confused when it comes to processed food. Like Melissa said, processed food is not bad. Unless you just go up to an animal and eat it, it's going to be processed. Unless you just go and take an apple off a tree, it's going to be processed. If you rinse off an apple, that's a form of processing it because you're removing whatever's on the outside of the apple, whether it be the apple's protectors from getting eaten, whether it be anti-nutrients and other than like Brazil nuts or something like that. You have to soak certain things. That's why you heat certain food up so you don't get sick, things like that. All of those are forms of processing food. So processing food is not a bad thing, but over processing food is a bad thing. Now, how I interpret what?
Oh, there was more to that.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So the basic problem with ultra processed foods is that some have not been designed with health in mind. Manufacturers prefer to make taste, cost, safety, shelf life, and mouthfeel the priority. When such factors are the goal, thousands of trace nutrients get stripped out. Additives such as emulsifiers and stabilizers are tossed in. Those industrial ingredients, oh my God, those industrial ingredients are considered safe, but their long-term effects are not known. Heavy processing may also strip out fiber, altering how the body digests food and affecting friendly gut bacteria. Okay, and that's the rest of it.
Okay.
Do you feel like it wasn't
You
needed?
made a face. I only do that I only act like that when you make a face. So that means that you feel like you did something. I don't know. I don't. I go for your facial reaction.
There's one
See,
more.
okay. Time out. Why do you want to read more? What does that mean?
It's
I'm asking Melissa a question.
it just says more about how it just said.
I'm asking Melissa a question. What was the question I just asked you?
Oh, I don't want to read more.
Yes, that was the question I asked.
Because it's not. I feel like it wasn't a full definition.
Okay, so, and like I said, that's why I make a face because then you start doing this, and I'm like, why are you doing that?
Okay.
Okay, so, okay, I'm curious. Put the phone down. Why do you think you want to read more of it?
Oh, I didn't do that just now because I want to read more.
Really?
Yeah, it
What
wasn't
was that?
like I literally went to my email. I wasn't on the thing
Okay, I saw this.
because it's like I understand that I'm being weird. So
Okay, so like I asked, why do you think you want to read more?
because it wasn't a full definition of it,
And
and the rest of it could just give more, add more to what you're about to say.
okay, so uh, what was I gonna say? Okay, so when I think of ultra processed food, highly processed food, to me, what Melissa read means that we already know that processing food means to just change the food. So it doesn't come in its original state. You change it, right? Now, we process food so that we can eat the food. It's for our health benefit. We process so that we can actually ingest the food or ingest the nutrients that are inside the food for us to be healthy from it. However, from what I gather from what Melissa was reading, is that when it's ultra processed, you take it down to a molecular level. Okay, how much more fiber can I add, or how much more sugar molecules can I add, or how much more what's another thing that's in my, let's go not oxytocin, dopamine receptor can I add? Like, how much more on a molecular level can I make you want to eat this food? Not because the food is good for you, but how can I trick your body into wanting to eat more of this food? So I'm processing it down so much. I'm getting rid of everything else. I'm only leaving in the things that you want to eat. So if I give you a bag of potato chips, the bag of potato chips is not actual. They might have a piece of potatoes in it, maybe, but it's 95 or 90% of added in things that don't come with that food. So the processing, I wouldn't that be processing too? Probably adding things that aren't in there would be a form of processing too. So that's the problem with highly processed and ultra processed foods, is that they are adding things to the food, not for your health benefit, but for you to actually want to eat the food more. So when you eat an apple, the apple comes the way it is. All you're doing is pretty much, let's say, for lack of a better term, when you soak it or wash it off, you're cleaning off the dirt. You're cleaning off dirt from the apple so you don't eat the dirt, and you bite into the apple, and that's it. You're good. You don't have to do anything else to the apple. It comes ready to eat, ready to go. You wash it off, rinse off the outside of it, maybe heat it up so that you can burn off whatever is not good for you to eat, and that's it. Um, so that's why we try to stay away from those kind of foods. What else did you want to read? Okay. So my cousin texted me and asked me. Um, she asked me, "Do you know what questions you were planning on asking, or what the topic is?" And my response was, "Why the current immigration policy is bad." So, or the problems. I feel like, yeah, bad is fine. That's me being laconic. I think that's the term. Let me check it again to make sure. So, like I said earlier, I wonder if laconicize is a word. I like to be laconic because I feel like, wow, that's great. So did I ever tell you about the guy that talked about tweets being food? Okay. So there was a guy on Joe Rogan who talked about that the reason that what is it called? That Twitter is such a toxic place is because all of the tweets are ultra processed food, but for the brain. It's ultra processed sentences. There's no context when it's very similar to how food works. If I just give the body a bunch of sugar molecules, it's going to act a certain way. It doesn't know what to do with the molecules, or it does know what to do with it, but it doesn't have the context as to how to use it or where to put it. It's just a bunch of sugar. It's just straight sugar and straight dopamine, whatever receptors, whatever the case might be. And he was saying that it's very similar to tweets, because if I tweet, I only have 140 characters, or now 280. So I'm unable to give you more context as to what's going on. So my job now as a tweeter is to be able to squeeze in everything that I'm trying to talk about into this small section. So what am I going to do? I'm going to leave out all the things that you don't care about, or all the things that would make the story sound a lot more understandable. And I'm going to give you the hot points of it. I'm going to say Donald Trump, Chinese flu, hates black people. Right? I'm gonna give you that, and you're gonna be like, "Oh my God, that's crazy!" And your brain's gonna react off of what it saw or what it took in. And the body works the same way. Your brain's gonna react off of what it was giving to it. So he was saying that that's why people act the way that they do when it comes to Twitter, and that's why it's unhealthy for you, because it's a highly processed form of communication. It's not the actual form of communication. So I thought that was a very interesting take. And so now, do you have the thing from last week with the ions? And what's time is left on there right now?
Like the hour and probably say 20.
Okay. Yes. Okay. Melissa,
Yeah.
what is an ion?
An ion is positive. An ion is an element with a positive or negative charge.
That's close. It's an atom or group of atoms, so it could be an element or group of elements. That's the other thing too. I couldn't find out the difference between an element and atom, and an element and atom. I think they're the same thing. Yeah. So right, that is an ion. As Melissa just stated, an ion is an atom or a group of atoms with an electric charge, either positive or negative. People who are just tuning in, the more hydrogen ions that are present, the lower the pH is. The fewer hydrogen ions, the higher the pH is. Now, the reason that is because if there are more hydrogen ions present, before I get to that point, the point of an atom is to be neutral, or an element is to be neutral. We mean to have the same amount of electrons that it has protons. So, if you have 5 electrons and 5 protons, that atom is neutral. If you take off 1 proton, there's going to be an extra electron. That atom is now, no, what?
You can't take out proton.
Okay. So, okay. So, okay. If you have 5 electrons and you have 5 protons, if you were to remove one of the electrons, then that atom now becomes positive, because now it's 5 electrons and it's 4 electrons and 4 protons. So there's one more.
It would be 4 and 4. It'd be 4 and 5.
Yeah, so it would be 4 electrons. I'm starting from the beginning. An atom wants to be neutral. It wants to have 5 protons and wants to have 5 electrons. If you remove 1 electron, it's going to be 4 electrons and 4 and 5 protons. And when that happens, there's 1 extra proton. So the atom is now positive. The inverse of that would be if you have 5 electrons and 5 protons. If the atom gets 1 more electron, now it has 6 electrons and 5 protons. That makes it negative. And that would then make it so the more hydrogen ions are there, the lower the pH will be acidic. So more hydrogen ions means acidic. Fewer hydrogen ions, which means more of a positive element, would be alkaline. So that's that quick. I was able to make that laconic because we spent 2 hours last week trying to figure out what the fuck an ion is. Okay, that sentence seems confusing to me. Acids are substances that have hydrogen plus ions and are lower on the pH.
What's confusing about it?
Because I feel like if you have an extra,
You don't have an extra.
you have less.
Because it's positive.
Yes, 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 yes. But then if it's positive,
It's positive because it has more protons than electrons. So they have less electrons.
right? That's what I'm saying. So wouldn't that make it
They have less electrons. So it makes it positive. Because there's more protons.
has less electrons? Right. But that's what I'm saying. So if there are less electrons, that makes the whole atom positive. So why would that be closer to being acidic?
Because it's unstable.
No, but it's unstable either way, whether you go to alkaline or whether you go to acidic. Because if you go to alkaline, you have more protons.
No, it doesn't.
Okay, uh, yeah, you have more protons.
No, you don't.
Okay, why do you say no? You don't.
More electrons.
If you go where?
If it's further on the scale, if it's negative, you have more electrons.
If it's positive.
No, if it's negative, you have more electrons. If it's positive, you have less electrons.
So you have more protons.
Oh, I thought you were saying that you would have more protons than you had before, because the protons stay the same.
No, you have more than you have more protons than you have electrons.
Then you have electrons.
Right. So my thing is, why is it acidic if there are more protons than there are electrons?
I think it's because it's unstable.
Okay. So why is it alkaline if there are less electrons than there are protons?
That's not alkaline. That's acidic.
Okay. If there are more electrons than
What did you say?
if there are more electrons
Mm-hmm.
than there are protons, why does that make that alkaline?
Because you just need all the pieces to be whole. You need to be at least neutral. That's the way that I see it, and that's why I think it works like that. Because you have your 5 and 5, so you're stable. Anything more than that
I
is not
remember.
going to cause any
I remember why. It's because, let me see. Hold on. Okay, now I remember. So acids are substances that have acids are substances that have hydrogen ions, which is H plus. Now the reason that H plus makes it acidic is because it has more protons than it has electrons. So it has to get a electron from somewhere else. So it's stealing electrons from your body. That's why acidic food, is that right? Okay. That's why acidic food is bad, because you don't want the food to be taking away from your other food. Now, the reason why alkaline food is good is because it has more hydrogen in it to give away to your body. It doesn't come into your body looking to take, it comes into your body looking to give. There you go. That makes sense. Got it. Okay. What?
You be saying it like you just.
That's not what you said.
Huh?
That's not what you said.
That's what I was trying to come
No, it wasn't.
across. Huh?
In what way?
What do you mean?
You started talking first. What do you mean?
That's what I was trying to get across.
How?
Because I was saying, because I'm saying, okay, because this is what I'm saying, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why are you doing your face
You're
like
about to
that?
say some stuff that's not true, but I'm listening.
Okay, you're gonna listen back to the podcast and hear what I said.
Mm-hmm.
So what I was trying to say was that, oh yeah, if you have less electrons than you have protons, you're unstable because you're trying to be at neutral,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you have more electrons than you have protons, you have extra on you, so you're stable. You're a full person.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's when I was gonna get into how if you have less, you're gonna try and take from other people. But that's what I was saying.
I'm gonna tell you why that's wrong. Also,
How is that wrong?
how is 6 and 5 stable?
What do you mean?
How is 6 and 5 stable?
6. Well, what's 6 and what's 5?
Does it matter?
It does matter.
Why?
Because if you have 5 protons and 6 electrons, you pass neutral. You're neutral already, so you have an extra one to give.
Am I stable?
Yes.
How am I stable? Is stable neutral?
Stable is neutral.
But so I'm not stable. That's my point I was trying to make. That if you have more of either or, you're not stable. So.
What?
Okay.
I'm looking it up.
Looking what up?
Because that makes sense. Because I think they would want to lose.
So they're both not. You want your body to be neutral, but the reason I'm assuming that your body is not neutral is because it probably. So, and this is what I'm curious about too, which is it's also possible to have too much alkaline. Like that is a possible thing. It's called alkaline poisoning, I believe, which will be which is similar to bleach, where like I said, it's just cleaning out your whole body. And okay, so that's why we understand. So we all know. So okay, Melissa, I'm gonna ask you this: why is acidic food bad for you?
Because it will try to rob your body of electrons.
Okay.
And it's not from your body, so it's not like it's making it's taking from your body.
Yeah. Okay, boom. I got you right now. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm not saying you're wrong. That's not what I'm saying. I would like you to answer, or can you answer this question as if I'm a person on the street and I'm one of your friends. I'm like, Melissa, why is acidic food bad for you?
Oh, why is acidic food bad for you?
Yes.
So
I'm a regular person on the street. I'm just a regular. I'm one of your friends who just asked the question to you.
Because acid corrodes your body. It's bad for your teeth. It's bad for your stomach. That's how you get acid reflux and all that stuff.
Nah, that's too vague. You gotta bring it more specific.
More specific.
Closer to this, but not because you started to talk too much. Your answer should have been shorter. So if I said why is acidic food bad, what would be a shorter response for you to give it like?
Why is acidic food bad? Because it robs your body of nutrients.
I think that's perfect. I'm gonna say electrons, but I think nutrients is perfect too. And then from there,
it takes more than just electrons.
Right. I think from there it explains more. If somebody wants to know more, then they can go deeper into that. But I think that's the best response to give to somebody. If they were to ask, "Hey, Donovan, why shouldn't I eat electric food? It robs your body of nutrients." What? What do you mean? Well, listen. Then you go, acid food needs electrons, and your body has them, so it steals it from it. That goes, oh shit, that makes so much fucking sense. I get that. And when you eat alkaline food, it has extra nutrients for you. So it gives it to your body when it needs it. So yes. So okay, boom. That's good. Let me go down to the next part. So the most acidic substance is sulfuric acid and the most alkaline is calcium. That's interesting. That means if I had to assume, that means that alkaline has the most protons to no. That means alkaline has way more electrons than it does protons. So, for example, a highly alkaline substance would be something that has, let's say, 3 protons and 100 electrons, because it can give 97 electrons away. It's a lot of electrons. It's a lot. That's what would be highly alkaline. Now, something that's highly acidic, like they said, sulfuric acid, which is the most acidic substance, that would look like 100 protons and 3 electrons. So now inside your body, like, damn, I need to get me 97 more electrons. I'm about to steal that shit from you. And they come in your body, they be like, and then they just start robbing you of all the electrons. So, all right, can you scroll down? So bicarbonate is present in all body fluids and organs, and it regulates the acid-base balance in the human body. When there is too much hydrogen ions, we all know what that is. That's when there's too much of that H plus, which is an electron, too many atoms that have a higher ratio of protons to electrons. Boom. Good way to put it. Or too much in one space, hydrogen ions will combine with bicarbonate. Okay. Hydrogen ions will combine with bicarbonate to form carbonic acid, which you will see a lot of on your food, right? I'm pretty sure that's a lot of. Yeah. Is that a lot of food? I feel like that is. Where's my okay, let me see. I'm looking up right now. Is carbonic acid in food? Is carbonic acid in food? Oh, isn't that what's in soda? So this thing that came up first says, our carbon dioxide is used in the food industry, not least as carbonic acid in drinks. I don't know what that means. What does that mean to you? Our carbon dioxide is used in the food industry, not least as carbonic acid in drinks. Yeah, I don't understand what that means. Let me see. Is carbonic acid in soda? Oh, ooh. Okay, this says carbonated beverages contain an acidic molecule called carbonic acid that decomposes when you open a bottle or a can of a fizzy drink. The decomposition of carbonic acid produces the characteristic soda fizz. Despite its acidic properties, there's no evidence to suggest that carbonic acid in beverages does you any harm. Carbonic acid is added to soft drinks to make it fizzy. Okay, so that's what they add that for. And carbonic acid is what?
Because whenever I wouldn't drink soda for a very long time, and I would try and drink soda, my tongue would burn.
So it's an acidic thing.
And did you know that like if there's a really bad highway patrol officers carry gallons of soda in their trunk?
Why?
Because if someone gets into like a really bad accident and like let's say that there's brains and guts everywhere, they'll pour the soda on it and it'll dissolve it.
That's crazy.
I don't know how true that is, but I remember learning that in science class, so I feel like it is true. I would double check.
When there is too much hydrogen ion or too much in one space, they will combine with bicarbonate to form carbonic acid. So if there's too much acid, so the brain, like brain acid, right? Is that would be acid? Would brain fluid be an acid? Because this says that if there's too much acid in one space, the hydrogen ions will combine with bicarbonate, which is in your body, to form carbonic acid. And if there's too little hydrogen ion, which would be what? Too little hydrogen ions would be...
Oh, it's to remove blood from the highway.
The soda? When there's too much hydrogen ions. Okay, I'm going to read this to you, and then you tell me what it means to you. When there is too much hydrogen ions, they will combine with bicarbonate to form carbonic acid. What does that mean to you? That's cheating. You can't look.
They'll combine with what?
What will combine with what?
What will the hydrogen acid combine with?
Bicarbonate.
That probably means that the bicarbonate has an electron that the hydrogen can use, and they probably share it.
Say it again.
That the
Bicarbonate.
the bicarbonate has an electron that the hydrogen can use, and they probably join together.
Oh, say it slower because I'm trying to follow you.
That the bicarbonate probably has an electron that the hydrogen ion can use. So instead of it just taking it, it just latches onto it, and that's how it becomes carbonic acid.
Okay, now why would it do that?
To be neutral.
Oh, so what is an acid? What is an acid?
An acid?
Yes. On a substance, on a litmus test paper, you have alkaline versus acid.
You mean like what number it's at?
No, I mean what is considered acid?
Oh, an acid is something that is I don't really know how you explain that. It has less electrons?
Yeah, than protons.
Yeah.
So that's what. Okay, so now how would you apply that to what you just said about the bicarbonate? It has less electrons, so that means that bicarbonate probably has extra electrons, so that it can then give it to the acid.
Not give it to, but
Combined with? Okay. Okay,
because
right.
there's something called valence electrons.
Okay, so they'll combine with each other. Okay, boom. So if there's too much acid in one spot, the bicarbonate will come and combine with it and turn into carbonic acid. Now, I wonder what that does in the body. And if there's too little hydrogen ions, so it's not enough, so it means that there are
You're not saying nothing.
okay, so it combines with to make HTCO3. But then it says bicarbonate will come and okay, so that one's the second sentence says if there is too little hydrogen ion, it breaks up to become water and carbon dioxide. That's what bicarbonate does. If there's too little hydrogen ion plus, and the hydrogen ion plus is an acid. So if it's not enough, if it's not enough acid in your body, it'll come and create acid. Does that make sense? No? Which part doesn't make sense? Which part doesn't make sense?
It will create acid. Wait, what's creating acid?
The bicarbonate.
How?
Because it is breaking up it is breaking up the element that is yeah, that's what's fucking with me. It says if there's too little hydrogen ion plus, bicarbonate will come in and break it up. So it means it's H2O. So it'll come and it will take one of the electrons, the hydrogen electrons, and add it to itself to make H2O, and then the oxygen becomes CO2.
Yeah, those aren't acids. Well, I don't think carbon dioxide. I know water's not.
I think
an
carbon
acid.
dioxide is definitely acid.
Carbon dioxide is acid.
I say acid only because your body expels it. That's why I consider it an acid. Are you looking that up? And if there's too little hydrogen ion plus, it breaks up to become water.
It's slightly acidic.
Carbon
It said
dioxide?
a solution of carbon dioxide is slightly acidic, but carbon dioxide itself is not an acid.
What? How does that work? It's slightly acidic, but it's not an acid?
If a solution.
If what?
A solution.
If a solution is what?
I guess
Because that definitely says right there carbonic acid that's something else.
carbonic acid, yeah, is different than carbon dioxide.
Yeah.
Because I'm thinking, like, if you turn it into a liquid form, then it'll become an acid or something. So it says that acids have the general formula of HXA, which means that they have to possess one hydrogen atoms at least, which is not the case of carbon dioxide. However, CO2 when it is dissolved in water forms the carbonic acid. So it's only an acid if it has things can only become acidic if hydrogen is in it. So if it's just CO2, then it's not acidic. So is water acidic?
I think water is balanced. Cause water's supposed to be neutral.
Water is neutral.
Well, you know what's crazy?
It is neutral.
It is neutral, but
it could be acidic.
Yeah, but what would make it? If you add more minerals to it, I guess.
I mean, I guess it's how much.
Because water could be alkaline.
Water can, it could be alkaline or acidic.
Okay. So, bicarbonate is present in all body fluids and organs and regulates the acid-base balances in the human body. Can you just look up bicarbonate just to see what you can find on that?
What about bicarbonate?
Just what does it do and stuff? And can you scroll down so I can read the other stuff while you are looking that up? Whew. These are words that I feel like y'all not ready for.
Y'all. When you say y'all, you mean you?
Nah, me? I mean, you feel me? I know what the means. I know the. I know starts.
I know what red is.
Bruh, blood? I heard of that. Cells? Mitochondria. Listen, I do this.
Where you see mitochondria?
No, cells. You know why you can't see mitochondria? Because it's inside the cell. That's why. That's why. That's why. Boom. And they have an outer.
What is a mitochondria?
It's the powerhouse of the cell.
Oh, damn.
Listen. I know this.
I found a definition. Say it.
Oh yeah.
Bicarbonate, also known as HCO3, is a byproduct of your body's metabolism. Your body brings bicarbonate to your lungs, and then it is exhaled as carbon dioxide.
Wait. Can you copy that and put that underneath bicarbonate on there, on your thing? On that. Because that's why they want you. So I'm assuming that's why having a high metabolism would be better than the slow one, because the if it's a byproduct. No, it produces bicarbonate, more bicarbonate, and bicarbonate then allows your body to be regulated. Does that make sense? So from what I just heard you say, that bicarbonate is a byproduct of your metabolism, right? So right, if it's a byproduct, bicarbonate, also known as HCO3, is a byproduct of your body's metabolism. So I would assume that the higher your metabolism is working, then the more bicarbonate you would produce. That's what my theory is. And your blood brings bicarbonate to your lungs, and then it is exhaled as carbon dioxide. Your kidneys also help regulate bicarbonate. It says that this regulates your body's pH or acid balance. So what are you gonna read after that? Or you were gonna read something? You were reading that. I don't know if you stopped reading in the middle of this.
This is all that was there.
Okay.
More information?
No. Okay, when there is too much hydrogen ion, acid, or too much in one space, you can scroll down. Okay. In red blood cells, carbonic anhydrase starts the reaction to intraconvert. Intraconvert means to fuse on a molecular level. I'm gonna say that 2 more times. Intraconvert.
They can rewind it.
They can, but it's better to just hear it back and over again. If you working right now, you're riding your bike, or driving, you want to keep pressing rewind. You just want to hear the thing again. So, intraconvert means to fuse on a molecular level. Okay, interconvert means to fuse on a molecular level. So I'm going to reread that sentence again. In red blood cells, carbonic anhydrase starts the reaction to interconvert or fuse on a molecular level carbon dioxide and water into carbonic acid. And now we know carbonic acid is what, Melissa? Because I can't see it. I forgot what it was. So it's at the top. But no, it's right there. It's right there. It's right there. Down.
Is water and carbon dioxide?
Why was the body? Can you look that up? What does the body do with carbonic acid? That's the question. That's not.
It up into carbon dioxide and water.
No. It doesn't.
Yes, it does.
No. Bicarbonate creates carbonic acid. What? If it's too acidic, then it will combine with bicarbonate, which is already in your body, and it will form carbonic acid. Mm-hmm. And if there's too little, then it will break apart.
And you're asking, what does your body do with what?
Carbonic acid. Trying to figure out what exactly your body does with carbonic acid, because the reason I'm asking that question, can you scroll down real quick? Because this sentence that I have here says that
it says that carbon dioxide is a byproduct of cellular respiration. Carbon dioxide, a byproduct of cellular respiration, is dissolved in the blood, where it is taken up by red blood cells and converted to carbonic acid by carbonic anhydrase, whatever this is.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the carbonic acid then dissociates to bicarbonate and hydrogen ions.
What? That doesn't make. I don't understand that.
It says an enzyme present in red blood cells, carbonic anhydrase. So this is an enzyme. Aids in the conversion of carbon dioxide to carbonic acid and bicarbonate ions. When red blood cells reach the lungs, the same enzyme helps to convert bicarbonate ions back to carbon dioxide, which we breathe out.
But it doesn't explain to me what the purpose. Why would it turn it into a carbonic acid?
Maybe it's easier to transfer.
Yeah, can you look that up? I'm curious. So the reason that I'm stuck right now is because it says that your body turns certain acids into a carbonic acid with bicarbonate. Bicarbonate's job is to help your body regulate the pH balance between acidic and alkaline food, right? So if my body is going to turn something into carbonic acid, I want to know why it does that. Does it need it to be fueled for energy, or is it some type of product that my body excretes, and it can excrete it through taking a shit, through peeing, through sweating, through sneezing, through breathing? Anything that your body does to get things out of it, it could do that. If carbonic acid is not supposed to be in your body, but if it's supposed to be used, then your body will take the carbonic acid and use it for something. What I'm trying to figure out is why would my body want carbonic acid? That's what I'm trying to figure out.
It's supposed to help maintain the acid-base homeostasis.
Okay, so can you say it again?
It's supposed to help maintain the acid-base homeostasis.
Okay, so how I interpret that is that It's supposed to help maintain the acid, what? Acid base, which is funny. Is base is another word for alkaline. Acid base homeostasis. So how I interpret that means your body keeps it around the carbonic acid in case it needs to break it apart to use for something else. And I'm assuming that carbonic acid in itself is not dangerous for your body. But if your body needs something from it, it can break it up. As opposed to if your body had negative, if your body had acidic food or acidic cells, not cells, acidic atoms. If your body had acidic atoms floating around your body, it would probably be bad for you. So your body said, okay, I'm going to take you, acidic acid, bruh. I'm going to take, okay, let me try something from the beginning because I clearly am bugging out. My theory is that carbonic acid is used in your body as I don't say a trunk or a storage space. That's a better word. A storage space. So if your body does need more hydrogen ions, it can go to carbonic acid and get it from there, instead of your body just having a free radical floating around in its body. And I think that's what a free radical is. So I think that's the problem, which I think happens with smoke. What we talked about last week with the smoke point, which is why you want to find out what the smoke point is of your food, so of your oils, so that you know if it's going to release free radicals into the air. So my theory is this, because it is right next on the list. I'm assuming that when your body inhales a free radical, which would be something that would be acidic, it's something that your body, oh my God, I can say it in my head, but when it comes out, it sounds crazy. When your body, this is my theory, when your body takes in free radicals, it then is in your body looking to take hydrogen ions from another part of your body. However, if the carbonic acid has extra hydrogen ions, it can just give it to that free radical, making it safe, making it neutral. So that is why your body keeps them around, just in case it has to give them away to something that enters your body that needs it. So that is why, like we said earlier, the bicarbonate will turn an acidic substance into a carbonic acid. Does that make any sense to you at all? Which part doesn't make sense? That's my theory. Okay. Free radical comes into your body, wants to steal from your body. Instead of stealing from your organs, we already have a trunk full of hydrogen atoms that you need. We just give it to you. So that way you're not actually fucking our body up because we have what you need to give it to you.
And then when we're ready to take your ass out, we just take it back.
No.
Because from what I read, it says that we took the carbon dioxide and we added water to it to make it into carbonic acid, and then when we done because that's what I took it as. When you're done transporting it to wherever it is or circulating it throughout the body, then we take back the hydrogen that we gave you so that you can be expelled, because now you're where you're supposed to be.
The last part you lost me with, but I think I have an idea of what's happened. I'm listening.
Because I think it's specific to carbon dioxide since it's a gas or whatever. So I think that they put it. It's in the body somehow.
Uh-huh.
We add water to it so we can transport it. Oh, I know what happens.
I think so too.
So when you breathe, the cells are taking in the oxygen. When it gives the oxygen to the other cells, the cells give you the carbon dioxide back from the oxygen. Okay. So now as a cell, I have to add water to it so I can carry it to the lungs. And then once it gets to the lungs, now I take the water out so that you can send out the carbon dioxide.
Okay. Oh, that's close to what I was gonna say. I'm still a little confused on it because I'm not sure if what we're saying is the same thing or if it's different. What I'm thinking happens is when your body brings in a free radical, which is something that's trying to steal nutrients from your body will give that free radical a hydrogen ion from the carbonic acid, which is H3CO. Is it H3CO2? H3CO. Can you go back up?
I think it's H3CO2. Oh, H2CO3.
Yeah. So then, okay, stay right there, stay right there, stay right there. So okay, your body will then come and okay, start from the beginning. Free radical comes in. I need something from you. We have a little area for you to get it. Here it is. We give it to you. Now once I give it to you, now it breaks up. So instead of being a carbonic acid, which is H2CO3, I can give you an oxygen. No.
Bicarbonate is HCO3.
Yes.
So all they're giving is another H.
Yeah. So then why is it?
They're not giving oxygen. They're giving hydrogen.
But then why? You said what?
They're not giving oxygen. They're giving hydrogen. Because this is.
Wait. Okay. I think I got it. That's okay. When I was saying it, it sounded weird because of what I already know about what we said. So because that two. Okay, this is why the two fucked me up. Because hold on, HCO3 is carbonic acid, is bicarbonate. So to form carbonic acid, HTCO3, and if there's two little hydrogen ions, the carbonic acid breaks up to become H2O and CO3. H2O. So where does the other oxygen go?
It's here.
Oh, right, it's over on that side.
The only thing that I remember from chemistry is that things can't be created or destroyed, so it just has to shift places. So, for so this is HCO3. That means that they gave it a hydrogen for it to become carbonic acid, which is H2CO3. And then if this is breaking up into two different parts, that means the H2 came here, one O came here, and then it's CO, and then you have two of those left.
So all of that makes sense. Can you scroll back down? Because I was trying to connect those two because it's supposed to be in order. So carbonic anhydrase is an enzyme. Can you put that in parentheses next to that? And then above that, can you define what an enzyme is? So, right, I was trying to connect the two, and the problem that I had was that I thought that it would. I thought that that carbonic acid would give a hydrogen atom to a free radical to then turn it into CO3 and expel it, or turn it to H2O and expel it. However, it doesn't do that. Oh, wait, that might be true. Okay, can you make it smaller a little bit so you don't have to scroll as much? Cause you have a 50-inch TV now. I don't know if you know. Okay.
Oh, it's how you do it. Because I'm like, I don't even know how to do that.
Oh, okay. I think okay. So I was on the right track. I just had the wrong words, the wrong uh whatever those words are. Um okay. Bicarbonate is present in all. Okay, so okay, Melissa, when a free radical comes into your body, right? It has a lack of it's acid. A lack of hydrogen electrons, right? So it needs to get it from your body. So bicarbonate gives it a hydrogen ion, right? Yes, yes. So when you have a free radical in your body and the free radical comes in and says, okay, I need an electron, right? Bicarbonate comes in and gives it an electron. No, it doesn't give it one. It combines with it and then it turns it into H2CO3. And then it breaks it up after that. I think it happens immediately. It breaks it up immediately after it combines with it. So now that it's safe, because now it turns it into water and to carbon dioxide, so it can expel it out of your body. And I think that that's the purpose of bicarbonate. And the carbonic acid is, I think it's almost instantaneously. I think that's what happens. I think as soon as it turns into carbonic acid, it turns right back. It turns into H2O and CO3, so that can leave your body. The only reason it's bicarbonate is for that split second that it combines, and your body goes, okay, this is what it is. Now break it back up and send him over there and send that person over there. That makes sense? Okay. Are you sure it makes sense? Okay. If I actually explain it, can you explain it? Okay. Can you scroll down? How much time is on there? I probably want to leave it like 2 hours probably. On this one? The other one was what, over an hour? Okay, so I'm gonna do the free radicals. I want to get into corn. Okay, I'm just gonna read the definition of free radicals, and then I'm gonna just give a little thing about corn, and then I'm going to end the podcast. So, free radicals in chemistry. A free radical is an atom, molecule, or ion that has an unpaired valence electron. Okay, Melissa, I need you to do something for me. Can you define a valence electron underneath that sentence there? So I'm going to reread that all the way through while she does that. In chemistry, a free radical is an atom, molecule, or ion that has an unpaired valence electron. I wonder why. Okay, why is this bad? You're probably asking yourself. Well, oxygen in the body splits into single atoms with unpaired electrons. Electrons like to be in pairs, so these atoms, called free radicals, scavenge the body to seek out other electrons so they can become a pair. This causes damage to cells, proteins, and DNA. So that's going to be that after I find out valence electron is, because I'm still a little confused on that. Yeah, I'm liking this. I'm not sure how other people are going to feel about this podcast because it's a lot of words and we aren't we aren't chemists, and we are also we're learning. So you're with us learning as we go along. So it's gonna come a point where we have all this information, and we probably write a book, or maybe not a book, probably a book, and you'll have it all up on Instagram. And when we put it up there, it'll be to a point where it's easy for you to read it, and it's like, oh, I get that. It makes sense immediately. But we have to put the work in first. So it's almost like an iPhone. You take all the parts behind the iPhone, you don't see. iPhone's amazing. A lot of working parts. These are the working parts right now. Remember the Bamboo Project. Okay. So a valence electron is an electron of an atom located in the outermost shell of the atom that can be transferred to or shared with another atom. Huh. Okay.
So that's how, like, because atoms, they have a shape to it.
Yeah.
So wherever they touch, that would be the valence electron. So that's the electron that they both share.
Yeah, but I don't. I'm trying to figure out what um, when they say paired, do they mean paired with a proton? It says has an unpaired valence electron. Cause I feel like, are they saying that it's not? Are they saying that it's not paired with another molecule? It says an atom, molecule, or ion. So a molecule can combine with an atom, and a molecule can combine with another molecule. So because I'm wondering if valence electron means that they're not, they have an extra electron that's not paired to, right? And it's trying to pair with something. It doesn't have to be. It's the same thing as a hydrogen thing. I'm assuming. I don't. So anything that doesn't have. So okay, you can have. So that's acidic though. Okay, this is where it gets weird. So is it only acidic if it's hydrogen ions, or can it be oxygen ions too? That's what we are doing right now. We don't need any of that. So I'm trying to come like, if these are the questions that we need to ask ourselves and then figure out the answers to. Let me see. I don't think so. Because this is how I think we should be learning this. Every time we don't know something, write the question down on there to answer it. So then when we go back over it, all the answers are already there, and we just keep going through it. Because like we did with the first part, we know what ion is, we know how they work. But what for the most part. But now what I'm confused about is what happens if an oxygen atom doesn't have an electron? Does that make it acidic? And why is it only that hydrogen ions make something acidic? These are questions I have to answer. These are questions that I want to get the answer to. So,
Okay, so apparently the way that an atom is shaped is that the protons and neutrons are in the middle,
protons and neutrons in the middle. Okay.
and then they have rings after that,
Okay.
kind of like Saturn.
Yeah.
So the two rings closest, the first ring is closest to the protons and the neutrons. Those are just regular ass electrons. The outer ring is valence electrons.
Okay.
And because it's the outermost ring, that's the ones that other ones can kind of like pop up and connect with or take, or so that's what makes it a valence electron, the fact that it's on the outer ring.
No, I get that. I understand that. What I don't understand is what is unpaired. Because when it says unpaired, does that mean, like I said, does that mean it has to have does an unpaired valence has an unpaired valence electron? So that means that what the fuck is an unpaired valence electron? If you have electrons on the outside, that probably means you're not connected to anything. But why would you be connected to something? Does that mean
I think electrons are supposed to be in pairs.
But that's a pair with who though, or pair with what?
I think it's supposed to an electron. Okay. Wiktionary says an unpaired electron is an electron in an atomic orbital.
Okay.
For which there is no other electron in the same orbital, but with opposite spin. I don't know what that means.
Oh shit.
A characteristic of free radicals and other reactive species.
But say that last part again.
A characteristic of free radicals and other reactive species.
See, I was with them for a second. They started talking about spinning, which by the way, guys, is resonance. When an atom is spinning, that's the resonance. Because it's not really spinning, it's vibrating. That's what me and Matt were talking about downstairs the other day. He was saying that they don't actually spin, it's just a vibration. And he was saying that the 5G connection, it resonates at the same frequency that oxygen atoms resonate with. So he was saying that they have the ability to make oxygen molecules resonate or vibrate. which then, because of that, it does not allow them to pair with other atoms in your body because they're technically free radicals, like they just said. Listen, like I said, this all connects. What? I'm listening. Okay.
In chemistry, an unpaired electron is an electron that occupies an orbital
Oh,
of
wait, it's too fast. You're too fast. Okay.
In chemistry, an unpaired electron is an electron that occupies an orbital of an atom singly.
So that's what I was thinking too. So it has to be within itself. So that probably means that if it's only one in the outside shell.
Rather than as a part of an electron pair. As the formation of electron pairs is often engineering, engine, energetically favorable.
Okay.
Bruh, there was mad E's and
I'm
G's.
What word is this? I couldn't.
Energetically favorable. And the font is small. It's a lot going on here. Either in the form of a chemical bond or as a lone pair, unpaired electrons are relatively uncommon in chemistry because an entity that carries an unpaired electron is usually rather reactive. In organic chemistry, they typically only occur briefly during a reaction on an entity called a radical. However, they play an important role in explaining reaction pathways. So that's
Okay. So so that helps to answer my question a little bit because so I have another question. My other question would be I feel like this is more just of a Donovan question as opposed to like a chemistry question. But if you drew it out, right, it would look like this, right? So this is the protons and neutrons, right? In here, right? And then you have one circle going around it like this. That is electrons will be doing that, right? And then outside of that, you have another one, right? So on that second one, I don't know how many there are. Let's say there's two. On the second one, that one would have electrons on it, right? But those electrons on there and the ones on the on the first circle and second circle have to match the protons that are inside of the middle, right? So let's say there's 4 in the middle, 4 protons in the middle. That means there should be 2 electrons here in the first one and then 2 on the outside, right? So if there's only 1 on the outside, that means there's 3 electrons and there's 4 protons. Because I took one from the outside, took an electron off the outside. So now the valence circle, whatever that is, right, only has 1, so it's not paired because it only has 1 in there. But my question is, what happens if there would be? Oh, I think that makes sense. I was thinking if the number is if the amount of electrons are negative, so let's say it's instead of 4, it's 5 5 protons in the middle, right? Then you would need 5 electrons on the outside, right? So I'm like, but then why would it? I was thinking, okay, that's an odd number, so you can't match it up because it's an odd number. But what will probably happen is there will probably be 3 on the inside and then 2 on the outside, and there's still a pair on the outside. And I think that's what's most important is that there's a pair on the outside. So it doesn't matter how many are actually on the first circle thing. What is that called? They say what it's called? On the first orbital, it's only as important what's on the second orbital. As long as on the second orbital, all of the electrons have a pair, then they're fine. That's what my theory is right now. So if Melissa wants to answer to that, then we will answer that. If not, I will go into corn for a second, and then we will chop this up and wrap it up. To the creed. I'm gonna look it up myself too. Let me see. How many electrons have to be in orbital? 2 electrons. Wait, they just fucked me up. How the fuck can you have matching? Fuck, I hate y'all. So this just says that the maximum amount of electrons an orbital can contain is 2. But how is that possible if the number is negative? You get what I'm saying? So, you heard what I said the first time? Okay. If you can only pair it up by 2, if you have 7 electrons, one will not have a pair. So what happens then? Is it always going to be a radical?
It looks like it's 3 of them on the same one instead of 2.
Which one is that? That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Instead of one floating by itself. So it wouldn't be 2, and then...
But then they don't have a pair then.
Yeah, they wouldn't have a pair, but I think it's fine because they have a proton to match up with, I guess.
But then it's a free radical still. Because a free radical is an ion or a molecule atom that does not have, or that has an unpaired valence electron.
I think an unpaired valence electron is one single electron by itself. But if it has 3 on one, then it should be fine.
I feel like I don't know if that makes sense to me. Can you have...
Because I'm looking at the atom for boron, and they have 3. Boron is the 5th element on the periodic table. And when they make it into a model for the atoms, it has 2 on the inner circle, and the outer circle has 3 electrons on it.
So this is what I'm thinking. Where would you find boron? And okay, this is. Let me see the periodic table real quick, because I'm wondering if all of the atoms or elements that are negative are free radicals. That's my theory.
What do you mean negative?
That don't have all the negative numbers, 3, 5, 7.
Those are not negative numbers. You mean odd numbers?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. There you go. Right. I wonder if all the odd numbers are. I wonder if all the odd numbers are free radicals. All the odd number elements.
I don't know. I know the higher that it goes, the more unstable it becomes.
Okay. Let me see. The number 1, because hydrogen is supposed to be bad if you just have it by itself. Hydrogen
was it positive hydrogen?
Because I'm looking at this list, right? And I'm trying to see if any of these elements are bad for you, the one that have a odd number. So I'm just read some of these on here that have an odd number. Hydrogen, lithium has an odd number. Sodium has an odd number. Potassium has an odd number. So see, I thought that would be good for you. So I don't know about that. That disproves my theory. That depends on what kind of potassium.
But that doesn't necessarily mean it's bad for you, though.
What do you mean?
You said what disproves your theory?
Because I'm trying to see if
disproves your theory right now.
Right. Okay. If free radicals are bad for you, and my theory right now is a free radical will be any odd number element. You shaking your head? What does that mean?
No, I don't think that's true.
Okay. That's what I'm thinking right now. So, periodic tables. Elemental chart. A list of atoms. Let's see, what would that be? A list of free radicals. Bruh. So I can't. I'll have to come at this later because
it's too much.
Not really. I don't think it's too much. It's just.
I think it's a vast amount of things that you have to line up.
Yeah. And then corn. Do I even have the energy to get into corn? Probably not. I feel like I don't. I'm gonna give you guys the quick explanation of corn. Okay, so corn in America, that yellow thing that you see, it's not real. Okay, so you're probably asking yourself, what the fuck does that mean? It's not real. Okay, so corn actually has a number given to it, right? And depending on where you are in the world, corn looks different. And that's because each place calls it something different. So, some people might call it maize, and here it's called corn. What I was uh, surprised to hear is that corn actually is banned in France. Now, you're probably like, how is corn banned in France, right? So you can have corn in France. However, the corn that we have here is actually called uh where is it? What is the oh man, what is the name of that thing? Can you look, can you just go to the top of there on there the notes and put in corn and see if I have the name up there? I might have it in there somewhere. Huh. I do. Okay, so I don't see it then. Okay, here we go. It's called the corn that we have here is called MON 810. Okay, that's what it's called. MON 810. It has a name like that because it was made in a laboratory. It's not actually corn. And funny enough, I'm pretty sure the MON in Mon or in MON 810 stands for Monsanto's because I believe they're the company that created this corn. Now, when I think about this kind of corn, like I said, the little yellow corn that we eat, that when you shit, it doesn't really get digested through your body. It just comes right back out. That will probably explain why it doesn't get digested because your body doesn't know how to use it because it's not real food. There's nothing really in there for you to use to actually eat. For your body to pull things out of, for you to, I keep thinking, what's the word? It's not nutritionize. What is that word? It doesn't have the nutrition in it for your food, for your body to eat. So it's funny because this was in 2014. France definitively banned the growing of genetically modified corn on Monday after its highest court and Senate both confirmed an existing ban. The Agricultural Ministry banned MON 810, the only insect resistant GM corn allowed to be grown in the European Union. Now, like I said, the corn that they have there is probably, it's called something else. Like I said, it might be called maize and stuff like that. Now, go look up because I couldn't even find. And they can grow the corn here because it's, I guess, legal and they don't really care about it here as much. And you can eat it and you won't die. But it's like, come on, I know it can't be that healthy for you if they're making it in a lab like that. I'd rather just get the corn off the street and or whatever it's called. Because like I said, it's called different things in different places. Let me see, different names for corn. Different names for corn. Yeah. I'm gonna go back to that. Mon 810. 810. So this is a picture of Mon 810. Tell me if this looks familiar to you guys. There it is, right there. I'm put up on the screen too. Mon 810. Look that up. Go on Wikipedia, do your Googles, find out what that is. It was made to resist insects. Bro, I can't even, yeah. And it says maize. It doesn't say corn on it. but that's what we know here to be corn. But that wraps it up for today. I told myself I'm gonna start doing like an outro that has a recap of everything we did today on the podcast, everything we learned today. So corn, another name for corn is MON810. It was created by Monsanto's so that it can be insect resistant. We learned that bicarbonate helps to regulate your acid and alkaline / base in your body. Alkaline is replaceable with base in your body. Can you scroll up to the top, Melissa? Let's see if I can remember what else we learned. Keep gonna go down. Scroll down. So I'm going through the outro of what we learned. Carbonic acid. Yeah, like I said, it's weird. So what did you learn today, Melissa? Did you learn anything?
Kind of.
What kind of? I feel like we learned about stuff that wasn't really on topic because we had to like go in deep. But what did you learn?
Basically, well, I didn't know that our body does what it does with the carbonic acid.
Mm-hmm. Which is what? What does it do?
Which is how it breaks it down into water and carbon dioxide if there's too little of the hydrogen ion, the positive hydrogen ion. I learned a little bit more about valence electrons and how that works. Because it makes sense to me that there's a point that everything needs to stick to that can be shared.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking like the valence electron is kind of like a glue.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering what makes a difference between it actually being taken or it just sticking together. Like how do you break it apart? That when you break it apart, does that valence electron go with the one that didn't have it before? And like it's kind of like that.
That's good questions.
And it sucks because I feel like if we had this conversation when I was in high school, I couldn't answer these questions because I definitely like had to learn this stuff, and it's just like I wish that it was still here.
Yeah, and I think this is what I said earlier in the podcast, where it's like this is why I want to do this, because you never have to use that information. That's why you don't remember it.
Mind you, I used to go to school on Saturdays early, blah blah. And I remember bits and pieces of it, so that's why some of this makes sense. I'm like, okay, I know what a valence electron is supposed to do. I'm like, okay, I know how this math is supposed to add up when you add a hydrogen ion plus, like, because it doesn't destroy or disappear. It has to go somewhere to one or the other. So it's just
What was I gonna say? Yeah, and like I said, that's one of the reasons for myself too. Is it's no point in learning things if you can't use it. Like it's literally doesn't make sense to learn something new if you're never going to use it. So I'm like, okay, we have the podcast. Now we can use what we learn on a regular basis. We're like, okay, now we can apply it to something. So it's about applied learning. You heard your mom playing with titties? That's what you did? See, she heard you feel, oh, titties being tickled? I'm coming over there. And what else did I learn today? The carbonic acid. Oh, yeah, I learned about the bicarbonate, the carbonic acid being broken down. I learned about the valence electrons, and how that the valence electrons are on orbitals around the protons and the neutrons. That I didn't know, so that's good to know for how they switch and separate their electrons. So I feel like for an hour and a half to only learn 3 things, I gotta do better. I feel like there should be more things that I should know after that, because if I only remember 3 things, how would I expect somebody to listen to the podcast to leave the podcast with a lot of information? It doesn't work like that. I
think we need to prepare before the podcast.
Yeah, probably right. You're probably right, but
then that way it's kind of like at least I know these things before coming to y'all. Yeah. We get here, we like, so how does one work again?
But see, this was my point too, because I feel like if you asked me these things earlier in the year, earlier this year or last year, I would have had a better understanding of some of these things. I forgot what enzymes even do until you said until you told me that was an enzyme. I forgot what enzymes do. I was like, carbonic anhydrase. I don't know what the fuck that is. I'm like, oh, enzyme. I'm like, okay, I remember what that is, but I didn't know it was an enzyme, so that fucks me up.
I mean, and then honestly, I still, like you said earlier, it's hard for me to materialize what we're actually doing here. So it doesn't matter if we don't know what it is and we're figuring it out on the podcast, because 5 years from now we're gonna know what it is, what to do, how to apply it, why this
Somebody
works.
come to ask you a question, but Melissa, how do you listen? Come sit down. Let me explain to you this little thing, and you're gonna know everything. Like, you're so smart. How do you know? Well, actually, go to episode 22 of the Bamboo Project podcast, and you can see us being like, what is a enzyme? Valence electron, like, you're gonna see it. And then, but like I said, and that's why I just think it's so cool, because I know they're gonna get better. Even today I was listening to another podcast by accident. I was trying to find out why one of them weren't on the YouTube playlist, and I was just watching it, and it was the fact that I didn't watch the whole thing because I obviously doing stuff, but I'm just like looking, I'm like, this is interesting to me to see where we were before with no freaking the chair. I'm sitting in the couch. I'm sitting facing different directions. The bear was here. Melissa sitting on the bear. We were using a Pixel phone. And I even think now, just saying it sounds cool to me to be like, I remember where we were before. So I'm like, it's going to come a point where we're like, I remember we were sitting in the studio doing X, Y, and Z with a camera. Now we got lights, and we got an assistant, and we got all types of stuff. But like I said, it's weird to see it step by step, because nobody really has seen this before, which is perfect for me. That's what I want. Nobody's really seen somebody go from regular to billionaire step by step. You don't see the behind the scenes work. Now I'm giving you an opportunity to see what it looks like to go from being a regular person to being a billionaire. So you can find me, Donovan Gray, DONIVANGRAY on Instagram. And you can find my beautiful girlfriend, Melissa, on Instagram at Anita Burn, ANETABURN. Ask FM. It's going to be down below, so you can ask us questions anonymously. Nobody will know you asked them. I won't even know you asked them. Just put anonymous on when you go and ask the question, and I'll answer the question on the podcast. I'll answer it to you, and then I'll answer on the podcast. Also, I made the Ask FM today, and somebody asked me a question, which is strange to me. I think it was Melissa. I think Melissa asked the question. She's not telling me she asked the question. Right? So I made it, and after like 3 minutes into making it, somebody gonna ask me, have you ever been a vegetarian? Or what was the question? It was something like that. The question was something about being a vegetarian. And I'm just like, what are the odds that a bot is gonna ask me about being a vegetarian? That's what I think. I think it's a bot. The question they asked me was, have you ever tried to be vegetarian? That was the question. And I'm just like, suspicious. So that's cool. But like I said, I don't know who asked it. So there's no name, nothing, just a question. So that's perfect. You can find all of our Instagrams, which I did not do in the beginning of the podcast. The Bamboo Project Food. We have a food page. We have a music page. We have a sports page. We have a fitness page. We have a clothing page. And we have a podcast page. And you can find all of those in the description below. Bamboo Project out.